There's nobody here, man. There is nobody here. I'm live. So I've been told. Just waiting. Yeah. Oh, there you guys are. Okay. Well, it still says 0. Thanks for being here. There's probably that delay, I would guess. Carol, Victoria, Danielle, you're somebody. 12 people. Okay. Wow. All right. Let's begin. There's that delay, man. I'm sorry, because half the time I'm sitting here wondering if I am live. Count says 0 and it says you're live. Hey, Dave, Marlene, glad everybody's here. Well, I will begin this Sunday for a minute, just for no other reason than I was bored. So I threw on some good clothes. My puppy Wolf's like, ooh, getting all gussied up like you're going to talk to somebody special. And I was like, well, YouTube. And he's all like, I see. I'm sorry. He was directly cool with it. So I'm glad everybody's here. And I want to point out right away that I have not spent this week looking into that case in Tennessee, as I should have. And I apologize up front. But I have given it more consideration since last time that I've spoke, and I would like to begin with that. I don't even know the man's name that confessed to it. Now, I heard on a separate channel, I don't like saying that, but I do believe that this is true, being where it came from, that the person had said that the guy had pled guilty to it and confessed, but then he turned around and said it was out of coercion. And then pled innocent. And I thought, okay, who's going to voluntarily confess to a crime like that, knowing that the death penalty could be at stake, and then confess to that and go on through with it until you're executed? It didn't seem right to me. I'm sorry, I'm making like a gun thing, but it didn't seem like that was a logical thing for a person to do. Are people still here? Because there's 15 and I just see 0 chat. So, oh, hey, Sarah Lopez. How you doing? Faith, True Blue, Tony, Delphi Justice. I like that. And Chris, how are you? So that's how I am beginning here with, I don't understand why the guy would confess and then say, well, I was coerced into confessing, because how could they coerce you into confessing to a crime like that? Did they say, if you confess, you can just go home? We just want to know who did it. No, they wouldn't. So there is that confusion, and there's no way to get to the bottom of that, because that happened a very long time ago, that crime. I believe that was 85. So that is something that I'm going to get back into this week and look into. Now, secondly, I was reading a book this week and completed that, but it concerned legal. Now, here's something that I'm unsure of, but fairly certain of. They would have to get a grand jury indictment in order to file a charge against Thomas Bruce. Now, being that would be the case, they wouldn't have a defense on hand. It would only be the prosecution. And what could the prosecution give to a grand jury if the person hadn't been spoken to? You see what I mean? It would almost like be giving away everything that you're confronting him with a year in advance of charges. Anyway, that was something that stuck out in my mind, because I don't know how they would handle that. I don't know. I mean, there would only be X amount that they could say as a prosecution with no defense there to say, we want to press charges, man. What do you think? I mean, they want the True Blue, man. I think they want to confront him with the full amount of evidence and stuff that they have, draw him into a confession, get all of his information. This is a young prosecutor here in Delphi. I don't think that he wants to go in and try this, which in a way will be kind of shameful, but at the same time, there's a good side to that, because as to all the parts that I want to know, there are the parts that I don't think anybody should know. And it's those parts that bother me particularly. So that was my week. That's how my week has progressed. It's gotten better since, when was I on Greeno's show, man? What was that last, when was that? Tuesday, it would be on the 17th. Was that just 2 nights ago? No, 3 nights ago. Okay. Fantastic. So anyway, on that, I am good to go. I believe I am without a moderator. If you are a moderator, give me a, hey, I moderate. Or if you'd like to be a moderator, well, I don't think I can do that. I can't do that from here. Hey, Lily. So if there are any questions, lay them on me. I did reach Greeno earlier this morning, told him I'd be doing a live show at 6. So yeah, I can't, I can't do that from here. I'm on StreamYard software, so I can't make anybody a moderator. Crap. You know what? Hang on. Let me see if I can pull this up. It just says you are live. Live public. View on YouTube. Hang on a second. If I'm here, I can do this. Is my hope. Oh, 10. You know what? I'm giving myself a thumbs up. That way it ain't 7 to 10 with 10 thumbs up. Thanks. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for giving me the thumbs up, y'all. All right, True Blue, you are now a moderator. Oh, crap. 1 second. Let me roll back there again. Oh, 13. 13 thumbs up. Gee, that's a whole lot better. God, man, I should just walk out. I should just call it an evening. And Dave Bull, you also are moderating as well. All right, man. Hey, Katie, how you doing? You two are now moderators. You know what to do, right? If not, there's not a moderator here to help. Oh, Lynn. Yeah, right, man. Lynn from Liverpool. Wow. Yeah, Liverpool, man. The Beatles, best. Knocked it out of the park. So, anyway, and I apologize. Needed a moderator, man. It's hard to do without a moderator. Man, not now, dude. People are asking me, hey, man, are you having a 6 p.m. Live show tonight? Oh, no, check my channel. Might become more obvious. Hey, Mark. This, let me see. What? It didn't save. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, this is crazy. That's my PayPal link, and this is my email address here. Right there. Now, if you have any questions, you're not blocked, Lynn. You put I must be blocked with a question mark. You're not. I can see your comment. Ah. I missed that. What is that in regards to right there, Sarah? If I look up. Well, right. Oh crap! You know what? I won't scroll back up there, but yeah, that is what they should do. They should test that against the man who confessed DNA. Firstly, to make sure. And I don't know why that they wouldn't have did that before 2006 if he was stating he didn't do it. Because look, when you put somebody to death for a crime they didn't do, all right. Now, firstly, you got to apologize because, oh man, it's the death penalty. That's why we don't use it. Can't you see innocent people are dying? Well, we don't want that right now because the only state that can put him on the death penalty is Indiana. So we don't want this in our way. Oh God, no, no. Look, man, there should be signs, man. Like if you don't seek the death penalty, we are not going to seek to reelect you. There it is, young prosecutor. Be on your way. There's only one way about it. You want justice? This is the only place where it can stand. Are you going to go for that? Are you? You know, because if you don't, man, you're going to look like a pussy, pal. You're going to look like a little pussy ass. Well, what am I saying? He is a pussy ass prosecutor. I seen him at the second year press conference. He looked like a little pansy. He really did. In fact, it's got to be his job to prosecute because everybody probably beat the shit out of his ass in high school. That's just me talking. But I probably would have been one of those fuckers doing it. I know who I am, and I don't like him. I don't like anybody in law. Well, wait. No, that's not totally true. That's not totally true at all. I did have high regards for Columbo. Columbo was a good guy. But you see, Columbo didn't arrest people for non-victimless crimes. He was really cool about it. See, just one more thing, sir, if I may. Papa. Loved Columbo. It's already solved, Mark. The Delphi crime is already solved and has been since, well, I'm going to just put a kind of a guess date to it. But I would go back a year ago into November. Right around my birthday at the end of November. When they called up here to Carroll County and said, hey, look, man, we got a guy here that's, you know, he was dressed like your bridge guy. He looks like your sketch. Never broken the law before. You know, heinous crime. That probably gave them something to think on right there. They took pictures of the guy, sent him on. They took him to the two witnesses. Yeah, that's the guy we've seen. I mean, like I say, what's standing in the way is because he's down there on first-degree murder and 13 other felony counts. That's why it's going to take a while, man. He's got a public defender, people. He has a public defender representing him, and as long as he's under representation, they can't go talk to him. They can't go down and speak to him. They can't get his information. They cannot talk to him, period. That's what's holding it up. And I know people are going to stand to that side. It's not him. You know, I had somebody reach me. It's not him. No, it can't be. No, I think it's Charles Eldridge. And I'm like, you know what? I won't debate you nor argue this online. I'm not going to. There ain't no way. I will not get into it because, you know, as soon as they're bringing up Eldridge, they know dick about this case. Nothing. Well, why do I want to say and try to enlighten somebody over the course of 2 hours when it's already quite clear to me they don't really give a fuck? Because if they did, they would know a little bit more than what they do already. So now I want to say this because my subscribers, man, and the people that view this channel, I respect you guys a great deal. I do. And it's not just because you watch my channel. It's not that, but I know that you guys are looking for some clear answers, which is what I've been on for a long time. I don't hand out crap. I don't hand out rumor. I don't hand out this person said, they said, well, I heard that. You ain't going to get it from me. If it didn't come from law enforcement or I can't make a logical connection, I won't speak on it. I don't. I will not. And that's why I'm kind of really not speaking on that crime down there until I know it more advancedly. Now, when I do, and anything I can gain from that, you'll be the first to know. It'll positively come right out of my mouth, probably the day that I learn it or directly thereafter. What would happen if it wasn't the guy they killed? Now, that is an interesting question because they did kill him. Now, they would owe the family for wrongful death or something, at least right down that line. I mean, I'm not a lawyer. I mean, the lawyering isn't anything that I've ever been involved in. I've been on the side of being prosecuted many times, but not from where that stands on their behalf. But I think that the whole amount of that would come from the court, including the prosecutor. The prosecutor would have to pay because there was material that was not looked through that positively should have. So I think that here's how it lies. I don't think that it will ever come forward. I don't think that they will ever bring it up to be investigated into. Or if they do, they won't announce that. Now, if it came back that it is Thomas Bruce's DNA, we'll never hear word one of it. And we won't because of this matter. A person was already put to death. The FBI don't want to draw that in and make them have to pay because he can't be tried. I mean, if they took him down there and tried him, he'd say, hey, you already, executed somebody here. Now you talk about your double jeopardy. What the F? So I don't think that it's ever going to come out regarding that case. It wouldn't matter if Thomas Bruce was the guy that did it, and that's his DNA all over the place. It won't ever come out, if you ask me. That's my opinion. They stand for each other against us, and they're not going to tell us that. That's what I think. Well, it did. I mean, I understand that. But the thing is that, and I hit on this quite often. People speak about DNA, but they have DNA. You know where my DNA is? My DNA is all over the place. And I don't mean that to be nasty. What I mean is a person's DNA goes everywhere. It can be anywhere that you've touched. Right there, man. Right there on that, man. There's my DNA there. Blow my nose. Anything that I've grabbed, this, it's got my DNA. And everybody points to DNA like that's it. They got his DNA. Well, where did they get his DNA? Do you know? I mean, you might want to know these things before you think they're going to stand on that one leg. We have DNA. Ha! Well, DNA could get there. Now, I'm not saying that that would be easy, but for a defense, they could try to prove that, hey, somebody's DNA could be there without them having ever been there. Somebody could pick this can up, take it to another state. His DNA's on that can. I can't argue, Your Honor. I can't. I don't know how they got my DNA, but I'm just taking the word of your professional man here saying that that's my DNA, because when I look at it very closely, yeah, I don't know. Is that my DNA? I mean, that could be Wolf's DNA. I don't know. I'm definitely in the dark here, Your Honor. You see what I mean? It's not just DNA. Did the man confess? Did the man say, yes, I did that? Yes. Well, why? Well, he had to give a why. He couldn't just go in and say, yes, I did. Well, everything that you say, I'll just go along with it. Let's be, just get through this quickly. It can't be like that. There has to be reasons beyond a shadow of a doubt as to why somebody is guilty. Now, people do get that, man, and I understand. And it goes across the board as far as race. I know everybody likes to make it sound like white people are racist and black people all look alike, and that's freaking bullshit. Never seen two black people that looked identical unless they was twins, and even then you can tell them apart. It's not like that, but it does happen like that. But it happens like that on both sides of a coin. Look, a black man, it's easier to get arrested because the guy was black, for the simple reasons of most black people have a same color hair, a similar complexion, and it's just easy to say if it was a black person committing the crime that, well, they were black, it was a man, maybe about 6 foot tall. I mean, like, where do you go from that? If you ain't standing up on them, I mean, you don't really look at their nose. You see where I'm at. So a black person can get hit, man, as almost a scapegoat rather easily like that. But so, I mean, it can happen, but not for totally the reasons of race, although race plays in. It really does. But there that is as far as race. I don't even go into the race. Oh, well, I hope that Vic's gone. You know what? That's a good question. That is a very good question. In fact, it's one that I've thought about. I think that the nature of it, and I mean, like, this is just my thoughts. I mean, like, I can't put anything to this, but girls that age don't travel alone. Okay. If you look at girls that are that age, they have a friend or a family member with them. They have someone that's watching over them, because girls that age by themselves don't go over to a hiking area. They have a friend or someone with them. So it could have been that one was more in a, not like graphic, but like collateral, because she was with the other one. You see what I mean? That maybe one was the target, but both had to go because the other one could say, who he was, what he looked like, and so forth. So that's why there may have been two, because if you're in the process, okay, of committing the crime, well, the other one has to be there. You see where I'm at. And I think that it could have been like one being the target, but both got to go. And I think that that may have been the full measure. Now, that happened in Evansdale. And it is kind of irony that the almost exact crime happened in Delphi. I mean, except for the age of the girls who were a couple years older than that of Evansdale, the crimes are positively, amazingly the same. Identical. Reverse date to make it like that much more over the top. So I think that it could have been more, like you would say, like a pure luck of the draw in Delphi that two girls showed up, as opposed to it just being a separate kind of victim. But I think that it being two girls in Delphi, that's what set the FBI up. I mean, they're like, okay, this is the reverse of Evansdale. There's two girls missing. It's on a reverse date. Let's get an agent there and kind of look into this, see if there's any foul play. And if there is, let's see if we can get some DNA and get this guy captured. And I think that that's why they was there on the 14th of February. Because, I always question that. Why would the FBI be there that quick? Why? I mean, this is two girls that's missing. And I mean, I understand that the FBI could show up for that, but to be there that quick, to be there at the first press conference, like immediately, they was already there prior to. And I thought, well, that's unusual. But it's down the road. It's down the road after much thought and other things that you look at where you go, I see why. I see why that they was there that quick. Yeah, I'm saying that, Katie, but I don't really speak like that much onto that, because I don't know the inner workings of a monster. I have no idea. I don't know how a monster thinks. Maybe the whole thing was to get two girls. I mean, maybe that was his plan at both occasions. I don't know. But I'm just drawing that out, that one could have been the target and the other could have been collateral because of. It very well may have been that way. You're welcome. Very welcome. Okay, I am Michael J. Cat, if you guys can't tell. All right, well, I'll just keep talking. Woof, hey, stop, man. Hey, do you want to do that on camera? You do? Okay, all right. Okay, we'll get you over here where you can do it. Puppies. So, let's see. Where do we go here? We got this new crime. And like I say, I don't think that they're going to come forward with that. I don't think that it will ever come out like that. Hang on here just one moment. Because, again, look, if they came out and they said, yes, Thomas Bruce's DNA is in these underwear, we believe that he did it. What are they going to do, man? What's the prosecution in that county going to do? They're going to be like, oh, crap, man. Oh, geez, Louise. And we murdered the guy. We executed him. we're going to pay for this out of the IRS for the what is that they sign, man? I forget what form that is they sign when you go to court. They always got that handy. We had to pay for that. We had to pay for wrongful death. We had to pay for all the years that we kept him in prison. And we have to say, we're sorry, our bad entirely. But well, I mean, you see what happens when you execute people for stuff, all right? Yeah. Well, that's going to take away Indiana's death penalty, because they ain't going to seek death for it after this guy down, Now, that might mean that they could, to make sure that he got the death penalty for that in a way, but I think it kind of takes that out of the hands. Wait. Have they informed Delphi of Thomas Bruce too? Yes, immediately. Immediately. As soon as he was arrested in St. Louis, they got a hold of Carroll County. I called Evansdale. And it's my thought that I was behind the FBI on that. I think that the FBI already had that wrangled down, and they called and said, okay, look, we got your guy. Yeah, we are certain that this is your guy, man. You might want to get down here and investigate and talk to him. Woo, 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 woo. But yeah, Delphi, they was contacted after his arrest down there. That's why they said, hey, we got a guy that was dressed like your guy while committing first-degree murder and sexual assault. He looks like your sketch. He had never broken the law before. Here's his pictures. The sheriff would take him right to two people that seen him that day. Hey, is this the guy you saw? Right here? Can you identify him? You can? You see where I'm at? That's how they know. But can they come forward with that? Not till they can talk to him. That will be 1 year from now. So sit tight. Hold on, buckle up, because it's going to be a very long ride around that sun, but that's when it will come out, just over a year from right now. That's a long time to wait. Be true. I got a problem with that. I got a problem with that wait, but I understand that wait, and so should you, because every single week, somebody will ask me about that. Every single week. Well, why aren't they pressing charges then, huh? They got DNA. I watch CSI. I know if they got DNA, they got him. Mr. Cat, think you know stuff, sir? Well, there is a problem with that. Moderators. Is there moderators here? There was a moment ago. That is my PayPal. That's my PayPal right there. That's one of the things that moderators pops up so people can see. Thank you. Thank you, True Blue. You're the best. I'm in Hope Zero. And my email. Now, let me go get my email for you again. That way you know my email. This here is my email. This is my email right here. Copy, paste it to something, and keep those going. When I discuss my email, bam, throw it up there. If I say, like, Wolf needs toilet paper, boom, throw him a PayPal. Well, it wouldn't actually be for Wolf's toilet paper. He doesn't use toilet paper, and that does not involve my channel at all, and I apologize for saying that. That was on me. So, anyways, if it is his DNA that are in those pants, we won't hear about it, because they would have a lot of paying to do. They would have a lot of explaining to do. And the FBI ain't going to want them to have to pay for that and shoot down any chance of getting a death penalty in Indiana. So the Innocence Society, or whatever it is that they call themselves, that said, hey, well, you got a guy up here that got first-degree murder charges, and he was in the same class, brutal crime and all, huh? Okay, well, we might investigate that. We're going to look into the fact of, should we investigate or not? Well, that's going to be held up for a long time, a very long time. So much so that I doubt that we ever hear about it. Or if they do, they'll say, well, we're going to check that against the CODIS and see what comes back. But, something along that line. Because the thing is they're not going to shoot themselves in the ass. The law don't work like that. They'll shoot you in the face, man. They'll do that in a hurry, man. Take that, man. I said comply. Oh, you can't copy. Well, Dave Bull. Dave Bull. Is there anybody here who can copy and paste? Anyone? Anybody that wants to moderate who can copy and paste? Anybody? Throw it up down here. I will make you a moderator. Like that. All right. 1 second. All right, Lily, you are now a moderator. Copy, paste, where necessary, but only where necessary. You see Alaska Blue? She knew. She had it to a science. She told me that beforehand. I got this to a science, Mr. Cat. Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, I understand your thoughts here on that because it kind of is. And it was a very brutal crime. Now, I don't know the brutality of this man. I mean, because we've never been given a cause of death from any of the victims, aside of one. But from what we understand, that was a shot to the head, and there that was. But we don't really know of the deaths of the other ones because that was withheld by law enforcement, rightfully. So I don't really know. I mean, if what I've heard, and right now I'm just speaking of what I have heard, if what I heard was true and somebody jammed a limb up her, all the way to her lungs, man, that's brutal. That is pretty horrific. Now, for him to do that after like aviation school at that age, it seems a little odd, man. It really does. It just seems. But again, I mean, we don't know about the deaths of the girls. You know what? Right now, Peaches, we are talking about the new crime that was okay. That's not right, Dable. That's not right at all. That's 777 on the end, not dash dash dash. If he was trying to do that correctly. And you got to have the HTTPS thing / www dot in front of it, or it isn't a clickable link. Anyways, yes, the Tennessee case. And what I'm saying here is that, they're not going to come out with anything on that. I mean, the FBI wouldn't do that and shoot him in the ass. They would have to pay back a lot of money. And it would better, yet just be like, yeah, look, man, we already executed someone. We can't get him on the same crime and then go for it, because he's already going to be doing life behind bars anyway. And that's not even with the Evansdale and Delphi cases that will be involved after 1 year from today. Anybody else? And I love questions. I do, man. Got 46 people here. Probably less than 20 thumbs up, man. No. Not yet, Bear. I always give people a second chance. Make it right. He was born in 1965, and I believe that his birthday was October 15th or 17th. 15th, 16th, or 17th of October 1965. I believe it was the 15th because he is 45 days older than I am. They already got his DNA. They already got his DNA. They got that like immediately. I mean, as soon as he was arrested, there was the FBI, and they were getting his DNA that quick. And again, I mean, if I go back, and it ain't even been a year ago, in an interview Sheriff Lesenby was doing, he said they sent their DNA, that being that of the Delphi suspect from Carroll County, off to Quantico headquarters prior to Christmas of 2018. That's less than 1 month after the time of Thomas Bruce's arrest, for them to get it back, for them to get it in CODIS, and for them to ship it off. Would they have did that if the two witnesses had said, no, that ain't the guy, though? No. I mean, but no, that ain't the dude I seen. Well, they may have, just to verify the fact that it isn't. But my point being that I don't think it went down like that. I think the witnesses were, yeah, that's the man I seen, no doubt about it, because it is the man they seen. I've stood on that now, coming up on a year's time. Yep, it'd be a year. Let me see. You know what? I'd need to follow back on my videos, and the first one, because at first I was just like, you know what? I'm finding information that ties. Aside the fact he was dressed like him, looks like this sketch, and had never broken the law, which is highly peculiar. I mean, I just want to point that out with a first-degree murder and double sodomy and all the like, you know. But a bankruptcy 1 month prior, not working at the time, fits. Had a route that goes to his brother's and family's house that goes right by that trail over years, so much so he had stopped there and knew the trail. Then it's all started fitting together, man, and it all fit together quite nicely. Okay, the reason that I understand this, Peaches, is for this reason. There was a man executed for that murder, and I hope that that's what you're talking about. Let's say it is, okay? Now, the family of the man that they executed, who had confessed, he said it was under coercion, and it wouldn't make a shit what coercion somebody said if they was going to hit me with a murder and brutal and, you know, so forth of a woman. It wouldn't matter what they said. They could have went in there and said, hey, you just plead guilty and you can go home. Be like, no, I will stay right where I'm at. I'm not pleading guilty to that shit. You hear me now? I won't. I'm not going to. I won't this time next year either. So the guy's family is saying, well, Thomas Bruce was at the same school with this girl. Okay? He had first-degree murder up here. And, you know, they went and got his DNA. Are you sure it wasn't him? I mean, if I was the prosecutor, the judge, or anybody in that court, I'd say, yeah, we don't just kill people for no fucking reason. It's not in our style. There's got to be overwhelming evidence. Don't know if you'd ever heard that before. They may not like list it like that on CSI, but that is fact. Because if you don't have overwhelming evidence to show that this person had did it, you could be fucking up. And that's what they're not going to admit to. Yeah, we fucked up and killed a man. Whoop, our bad. He confessed, though. He said all the right things. You know, but I didn't look into this crime, you know, yet, but I will. No, not at all, Victoria. You know what? That is a great question. That is a great question, and one that I am very happy to answer. Very happy. Look, states have rights. States have rights. Okay, they are a corporation. The state of. If your state ever files charges against you, all in capital letters, state of, name your state, all in capital letters. It's a corporation. Okay, Now, it's good that states have rights because states can change what it is that they believe under federal law for that reason. Look at Colorado. They said, hey, it's recreationally legal here. There it is. Well, it's a federal offense. I mean, it's a federal crime. We have the right. We have the right, being one of the several states of the union, to change that. And that is good because in a state, say they don't have the death penalty. Well, if you look at the people in the citizens of Evansdale, they're the ones saying, no, absolutely not. We understand this isn't a death penalty state, but this monster needs to die. That's what we want. Rightfully, just like Delphi, rightfully, this man must pay that price because he's already going to sit in prison forever down there in Missouri. We're not going to hold him in our prison. They're not going to hold him in their prison. They already know he's going to do life without parole. They already know that. But they got to show who did it. Because if they don't, then what? They go, well, we know who did it. He's behind bars. They're just going with your life. No, I would not go on with my life. You will bring him to Carroll County and you will try him. It won't be in Carroll County. God, man, that would probably be Indianapolis, man. It would almost have to be Indianapolis, Fort Wayne, something like that. But they ain't going to try him in Carroll County. He'll have his initial hearing here, but they will proceed elsewhere. They're not going to do that in Delphi. I mean, geez, man. I want you to think about the courthouse, man. Man, the whole of Carroll County is 20,000 people, man, woman, and child. That's the entire population of the whole county. There's going to be more than that many people at the courthouse when that fucker goes to his initial hearing. And they will all, probably including the National Guard, want him to die. It's all good, Dave. I get that. Oh, man. No. Don't chase trolls away. You ban them. And when you ban them, send them a message and say, please come back. Please come back, and give him a thumbs down. That way we can keep proper track of the cocksmooches we send on. It means it's right. I always point to them and I say, see that, Wolf? That's views that some unfortunate little bitch gave me. Yeah. He gets it. So, I sit down a little unprepared for general chit chat all night. If anybody has anything to ask, man, please throw it in the comment section and I will get to it immediately. I have no idea. Namely, because they haven't said. I would like to know. I mean, it would give kind of a broader variable of ages. I mean, I'm pretty sure that they weren't children, but I don't know that. I mean, they said women. They did say women, 2 other women. So it would have to be women that were above 18. But again, we don't know the target. We don't know the one that, caused it to go off in the monster's head. I'm going to my car, get a handgun, and I'm coming back and doing this. And it's like I was saying about the Delphi murders. And the guy was there for 3 hours, actually 2 hours, from what I'm understanding, until they arrived. Now, he could have been hiking around, and I'm not saying that he wasn't. I don't think he just sat down somewhere. But I think he was waiting for what he felt in his mind was the appropriate victim. And that's what he was waiting for, because everybody makes it sound like this guy was just out to kill anything. Well, no. It's just like a serial killer, man. They usually have a type that they go after, with a certain hair color, a certain, there's always these things that kind of set that off in the serial killer's head as this is what I want in and from my victim. Let me see here. You know what? I really don't. And I do. I understand where you are coming from, but I do look at it like this. All of the victims had one thing in common. They were all female. You got 77. You got one that's 53. You got two unknowns, 9 and 11, 13 and 14. But they were all female. Now, I know people will, and just like I was kind of alluding to, that a person that does this will usually maybe seek an age range or, something along that line. I think that when the man is drinking, I just don't think that it matters so much. I think that once a person fits that characteristic, that's what sets it off right there. That's when it becomes go time. Okay, so back onto this again. Thomas Bruce had two different jobs. Lost each one. Well, lost one for unknown reasons 1 month before the Evansdale murders. His wife was working. He was not. He had time to travel. Now, 5 years later, 1 month prior to the Delphi murders, he's working as an insurance agent. Well, he filed bankruptcy, and that was on January the 11th, resigned from his job shortly thereafter, we can assume prior to the beginning of February of 2017, and was not at work yet again 1 month prior to the Delphi murders, with the route going to his family's house. Right up the state here, Fort Wayne, Indiana, Montrose, Michigan. That takes the Hoosier heartland that goes right by Monon High Bridge Trail. Right by it. Now, that didn't strike me as odd. I mean, because as far as I had reached in and was looking at this guy investigatively, I knew he had to be there. I said, I'm pretty sure I got this guy. Pretty sure. I mean, I can put it to a high percent that this may be our guy. But when I found that route, it changed. I knew he drove. I knew he drove right then. When I seen that route, I'm like, I got him, man. I got this dude. I got him good. And that's when I started digging deeper, a little deeper, a little deeper. I put everything together that, you know what? Everyone should be on my side. But I get a guy, man, that's on there, man, on Facebook. He's talking, well, I think Charles Eldridge has a better, higher degree of being the Delphi suspect than your guy. Dude, F off. Apparently you don't know anything, period. And look, I wouldn't even argue this case with somebody who knew it because they would know substantially more than I. You see where I'm at? But it's just like trying to explain calculus to a kid that's in third grade. You can teach him all day. And at the end of the day, he still ain't going to pass the test because he don't know what you're talking about. He's lost on it. He can't comprehend those words. They're meaningless to him because he's never learned them. He don't know what they mean. The same applies here. I ain't going to sit and argue or debate this case with somebody who knows nothing because I wouldn't waste my time. It's quite clear that after like pushing 3 years, they don't know anything. They're not going to because I say it. They're just going to sit there and try to debunk anything I say. Well, you can't prove he was in Delphi. Well, you think law enforcement's going to go down to St. Louis and go, was you in Delphi on February 13th of 2017? No. Damn it. We thought we was going to get you. Well, you said no. Yeah, I'm sorry. We're sorry we're wasting your time, sir. We'll be leaving now. No. because that is not how it works. You got to take what you know to be fact, what you know to be real evidence, what you know is the circumstances that involve this guy that can tie him to the place that you believe that he was at. That is what I am doing. Mind you, some of it is educated speculation. Yes. But guess what? That's the identical of what a law enforcement investigator would do. The identical. Because if you can't draw the lines, you can't make a picture. Period. He won't. He won't, because he's on suicide watch, and he has been. That's why he's got a beard and his hair is long. They're not going to give him a razor. They don't even give him a writing instrument without supervision. And besides that, he already knew. He knew when he did the Catholic supply store that he was going to be caught for that. Why wouldn't he? You see what I mean? You go in, you do that right in your hometown, right there. I mean, it's not like everybody knew his face, but, they pulled up in their car. He was just at a drinking establishment, just handed a lady his business card, goes right up the road and does that, and just thought, I'll never get hit. Now they'll never think it was me. No, he knew. That's why he had the black eye, man, because when they came in, he was going to fight. He was probably trying to get to a gun. That was probably his first thought. Because I think it became overwhelming to him, man. He was watching the news. He was following the case. He knew what was happening. Ancestral DNA, CC Moore. He knew over just a matter of a short time, he was going to be at his door. He knew it. He was a Scotsman, man. His family has DNA in that database, and he knew it. He knew that even if they didn't, they could still narrow it down to him. They could still say, this right here is your man. Cheryl, if you just send it to me, no. But if you send it to me before that, then yes. But, and I apologize, because out of all the email messages I get, it's the names. You see what I mean? It's hard to keep track of something just because somebody's name or something is at the top. I go through it. I mean, I know what their name is when I'm doing that, but then thinking back, I'm like, it could have been like anybody. Dustin, I'm going to tell you the same thing I do, everybody. Watch my videos, pal. Watch them. Watch all of them. Not one. Watch every single one all the way through, front to beginning, back to end, and you'll know everything that I do. If you want me to sit here and ramble for 5 hours, man, about what it is I know, not going to. Will not. I got a ton. It's all back in my videos. That's a very large question just to hop on. If so, yeah, I heard about Dexter. In fact, it came from that guy who got a hold of me on Facebook, and I was talking to him on the phone. You mean Dexter? Who's Dexter? He's a troll. Facebook troll. This guy was I says, you know what, dude, man, just do me this, man. Send me a number where I can call you, because I ain't going to sit here and type all day to you. And then the guy had 5 words the whole time. I mean, I'm just sitting there talking. I'm like, hey, man, are you there? Yeah. Man, he was really talkative until I got on the phone. Now I feel like I'm wasting my time. Well, they did not link him to that crime show. That was the family of the man that they executed for that murder, who had confessed already, that, yeah, I did it. And then they executed him in 2006. Now that guy's family, Okay, well, if Dexter's here, man, just send him on, man. Just escort him to the door. I don't give two shits or a piss about Dexter. So it's not that he is involved, but the family's like, well, he falsely confessed. He said it was coercion that you got, And I'm like, yeah, no. Now, I'm not saying that Thomas Bruce didn't do that murder. I ain't saying that. I don't think that they will come out that he did. For one, they may, but to try him for it when another person has been executed, I want you to think about the legal strategy that had to be involved there, because he's already going to be doing life without parole here. We don't know about Delphi or Evansdale yet, but I know those two are on the list. Then why isn't someone booting them? Are you guys unclear on how to boot someone? Because I'm not seeing these trolls. And if you do see a troll, send them on. Click on the three dots to the right of their name, Lily. Yes, hide them from the channel. FBI involved. Surely they don't give a crap about where he is. There's no incentive to confess. Hear it all the time. Hear it every time I bring that up. But he don't have to confess. He don't have to. What if he says, no, it wasn't me? Ha ha! I got you. You came down here for no reason, didn't you? Thought I was just going to hand you a case. He says, well, hold on, Mr. Bruce, if that's what you prefer to be called. We have two people that seen you. That says, yes, we will swear in court that we've seen him. We have your DNA. We know you know that. We have your fingerprints, sir. We have, and they can list out everything. And they can even give him like a bargain. But that's just the thing. I don't want no bargain. I want them to go in there and lay everything out, because it doesn't make a flying flip whether he confesses or not. It don't make a damn what he says. He could shut up and not say an effing word. And they would say, thank you for your time. Thank you for allowing us to speak to you, Mr. Bruce. Have a good day. Bam! Double murder charges that fast. Because at that point, they can end that investigation and say, we spoke with him. He declined, blah, 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 blah. So what we're going to do, send this to a grand jury. Do we have the evidence? We do. Great. We're extraditing him back to Carroll County to hang his ass. That's why. I didn't watch his latest video. If it was the one I was in, it wasn't bad. No, actually, Lisa, it wasn't the 77-year-old. That was, I believe that was September 27th. So that's just been over a year ago when that happened. But you see, of course, she called the law after the fact. But the thing is it's when she seen him on the news for the Catholic supply store and the road rage incident. That's when she seen the guy. She said, that's the guy who did it, and then called law enforcement. Law enforcement got the information off of his car, said, yep, he was parked right out front of your house at the time in the Kia. So they did narrow that down to him. Now, usually at this point, a person will say, that's the car he drove to. I don't think it was. I think that he bought that after the fact, because at the beginning of 2017, he filed bankruptcy. Like on January 11th, it was already in the works. I think that he got that car after the fact, and it was probably a car that he had at the time of February the 13th. Yes, he would have been 20. Well, in 85, No, he would have been 19. He would have been 19 until October of his birthday. So in July of that year, he still would have been 19. Dave or Burke. I don't understand that. Yeah, right. Again, on that crime, when he was in there sexually assaulting her and the phone rang, she said, that's my husband calling to say he's off work and is on his way home. TB told her, if the guy walks in here, I will kill him right in front of you. The guy is heartless. The guy is a monster. Okay, Lisa, I don't know why that is funny. I don't get your humor. Is there something funny that you should tell me? Is there, Lisa? Is there something that you would like to say, Lisa? Please spell it. Moderators, please be standing by. Yes, exactly. Exactly. And it is. Lisa, do you have a problem? Do you have an issue, Lisa? Just type yes or no. And depending upon what you write, you will be here or not. Tell me, do you have a problem? God, man. Then don't act like one and add LOL to every fucking thing. This is why I'm asking. Because I've talked to Lisa. Maybe. Well, it doesn't matter whether he does. It doesn't matter what he says. If they go down there and they talk to Thomas Bruce, he could deny everything. Everything. That ain't my DNA. That ain't my fingerprints. They seen somebody that looked like me. I'd never been there before. I'd never taken that route. He could say everything to the letter. He could deny every last bit of it. Because they talked to him, they're going to file fucking charges. That fucking quick. It don't make shit what he says. But they do have to talk to him. It don't matter if he denies it. Like zero. It don't mean shit. They will still get a grand jury and file charges against him, extradite him to Indiana, and hang his fucking balls. That is the fucking story here. Yeah, it did, Captain. I agree. And that's why I asked, because if I see somebody that is trying to troll, I try to get to it immediately to get them sent on. And I do apologize, Lisa, there. I was at least in part wrong on you. But you had me guessing. Deep down inside of you, Lisa, there may be a troll. Don't deny it, but just accept it. It could be true. Captain, and Captain. How are you, Mr. Admiral, sir? And speaking of Admiral, did anybody ever watch The Wrath of Khan? Ah, Khan. I liked Khan. Khan was a good man. Yes, he is, Miss Chris. I agree. But again, everybody says DNA like that's the grandstand. It is, but it ain't. It can be, and everybody goes to that like they know what their DNA looks like. You know what? I could get a sample of your DNA, have that ran where we're looking at your traits in your DNA, and I could ask you, is this or is this not your DNA? How would I know? I don't know. Is it? I don't know. It could be that of a toad. Is it? Is that my DNA? We always take the stance of the professional they bring in. Oh, yes, it is. To a 999 billionth degree, it is. Yeah, it is. Well, we take their word on it. Well, a person could get my DNA and go place it anywhere. Well, did I do that crime? Not if they placed it there. You see where I'm at? But your DNA was there. Ha ha, says CSI Watchers. Yes, you did do it. Your DNA gave you away. No, they have always tried people for murder long before there was any DNA evidence. Long, long before. Ages, decades, thousands of years ago. People on murder without DNA because you need substantial evidence. Bam, and there it is. Well, send them on. Why are you telling me? If you see one, send them out. Fuck. Wrong. Extremely, positively, 100% wrong. Look, man, there was a lady who was arrested in Ohio. Okay. Well, she'd committed murder here in Indiana. When her court case was over, when she was no longer being represented, they went and got her, brought her back to Indiana, extradited her here, and they gave her the death penalty. Now, when that death penalty time came up, they had to bring her back. And they killed her right here in Indiana. Yeah, because that don't stand in the way. It isn't forever. It's until that case is complete. October of this time next year. Any other questions? I like questions. It gives me things to answer. I enjoy answering. That is my email address in case anybody wants to reach me through the week with questions that they don't have currently. She? I don't know who she is. I said Ohio. I said Ohio, Peaches, not Missouri. Now, you may be under the assumption that, well, they got him and he's going to be held with life without parole. I'm sorry, he can't go out there and face those charges. We got to hold him here for his entire life. Bye-bye. It ain't the way it works. They want his ass as much as we do. That's why they called us. That's why they gave us that indication. We got this guy. Otherwise, let's see. You got a multi-state killer, and in the first state that he goes to, they say life without parole. And all the other states go, damn, now we don't get to try him. Well, fuck. Now what? Well, we know who did it. Go back to bed, everybody. Yeah, I know where, but he's doing life without parole somewhere. Bye-bye. Go on with you now. Quit asking your silly questions. You know, that it's not like that. Of course, if you commit multiple murders through multiple states, you will face those murder charges in every single state that you did that. That is how the law works. Now, you do have to wait until that trial's over. You can't walk down there in the middle of this trial and say, we demand to speak with him, because they will stop you right at the door and say, oh, fuck no, you won't. You ain't talking to him right now. He's under my representation by. That's how that works. Hold on, man. I need to gather some juice here. Oh, I love this squonk, man. This is the deep fried banana. I really like the deep fried banana. I really want to get the watermelon, though. I heard shamrock cookie is the bomb, man. I hear it tastes like a Yorkshire peppermint patty. Wow. Well, just the thought of a Yorkshire peppermint patty makes me think about what I'd do for a Klondike bar. There ain't much I wouldn't do without for a Klondike bar. I love that shit. I really do. And Wolf. But I don't let him eat the chocolate outside, but he likes the ice cream. Oh, I see why there's no chat. It ain't down to it. Yes. He did. And he did barge into her home, but there was also the sexual assault upon the lady. It wasn't just barging into her house. I mean, if I barge into your house, I mean, that could be, if they wanted to play it that way, that could be first degree breaking and entering, because somebody was home. But he sexually assaulted her, and that added on to that. I mean, that will probably be 2+ charges, depending. Yeah, exactly, Miss Chris. You know what? I am with you. I like mint. I hate menthol. I used to smoke menthol a long, long time ago. In fact, when I was in the Army, I was smoking cool cigarettes, cool super long filter kings, but only because it made me look cool. Like, oh, well, I better not say their name. No, they say that the reason that you smoke is why you originally smoked. And I says, well, it's not so much to impress her today. I can tell you that. But yeah, mint and chocolate. Yeah, the guy reviewing it, man, said the shamrock cookie was just top notch, man. He said, yeah, damn good. Oh, I'm glad that there's another person out there vaping. Let me tell you, man, this right here, man, it changed me, man. Because, man, you know what? I mean, I don't puff a cigarette, man. I don't light one and sit there and put it out and then light one later. Man, if I want some nicotine, man, I'll just be sitting here, man. Just grab this, man. Take a couple of hits, set it back all day. Whenever I want some nicotine, bam, right there it is. Yeah, peppermint patty, man. I'm down. I'm down. I would go into a joke about peppermint patty, but it wouldn't be PC in order to do so. Oh, yeah, I like the creamer. Right on, Dave. And you know what? This is what bothers me. Is because they want to ban vaping. Yeah, nicotine vaping. This, right here. Vegetable glycerin. Doesn't do anything to you. Nothing at all. Nada. 100% FDA approved. It's in almost all your food, your makeup. Put it on your face all the time. Your whole life. You go to a concert and you got a bunch of fog. That's this. It's vegetable glycerin. Yeah. Yeah. But now people are out there buying homemade THC vapes, and they're cut with vitamin E. And when they ask them that at a press conference, they go, well, we can't touch upon that because it's medical, and we don't want to release their private information. Because what it amounts to is this. Big Tobacco said, were they vaping it? Well, yes, they were. Were they vaping it? Yes. So vaping caused it. Well, yeah, but the vaping caused it. Yes. Vaping causes this. Ready? All states who want big tobacco money, ban vaping. Yes, said Big Tobacco. And anywhere I go with my vape, people go, people are dying from that with their eyes all in like a fluoxetine stare. People are dying from that. People. This is the head of people. They got it jammed up the ass's nose. And that is why I don't get along with most people. I get along with Wolf. That I do. Eight years. Oh, yeah. Very well done. Yeah. Yeah. And which caused it? You know, and that's the lowdown. And when you look at that and you know why they're doing that, then you see the states going, well, for the sake of the people, we're going to ban vaping because we don't want anybody to get, you know, but they will sell cigarettes where you can go get lung cancer. They don't give a fuck. They get money for that shit. They don't get money off of this. And that is why they're banning vaping. Hey, if your state bans vaping, you know what? Send them this right here in a letter and say, you know what? Fuck you. The citizens don't like you. You're against the citizens, so jam this up your ass. Oh, and you will not be in office the next time if I have to go down there with the sign to make sure everybody going to the voter thing, hears about it. Fuck you guys. My state bans it. I will stand up and I will go to a state that where it ain't. I will buy it illegally. I'll do whatever I have to because I got a big fat middle finger for the state. Fuck you, state. Up yours. I said no. Nah, I said no. Not you. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. I don't care. You know what? If a person wants to come to me and apologize, I am as quick to forget as I am to get angry. Which anymore is fairly quick, but it's getting better. It's gotten better since I've been sleeping. Sleep has changed my life. Yes. I don't know who you are, Miss Chris, but you are after my heart. Yeah. You know what? I had a guy. He was a friend of mine online. In fact, he wasn't a moderator. I had a website, man. That's back in I think I started that in 2001. I had a website, and he was a good friend of mine on that website. He was there all the time, in the daytime, man, and we'd chat and stuff. Well, he wanted to come out here, him and his friends, for a weekend. So, they came from New York. I think he lived in, it was either Queens or the Bronx, one or the other. So anyway, man, he comes out here to Camden, Indiana. And every place we would go, and he would go into a store, man, he would just buy packs and packs of cigarettes. And I'm like, dude, why are you buying all these cigarettes? He's like, dude, they're $7 a pack in New York City. I mean, if I can buy them here for this, I'm buying them up. But, and it depends. Again, this is a state-to-state thing. It's just like saying, well, why doesn't one state go after the death penalty when another will? Well, it's dependent upon that state. Same with THC. One state says, hey, marijuana is fine. You know what? You can grow it. You can smoke it. We don't care. However, so they make it recreationally illegal. Okay, I haven't seen anybody taking over Colorado because of that. You see? It's just part of the whole thing is that the government can do what they want. And when you got to pay out of your pocket for it because they know you're going to, they know they can catch you. They know that money's theirs, and you got a criminal offense on your record. That's how a state likes to play it. As long as they can pull a dime out of your ass, they don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a shit. If you think they do, I'll ask about taxes, property rights. I could go through this all night long to show you that they don't give a fuck one about you. Yeah. You know what? It may be, but America is the highest taxed nation of all of them. We are taxed more than any other. We have more laws against our people than any other nation. We have more prisoners than any other nation on earth. And that includes India, China, Russia, all of those that, man, outpopulate us by millions and millions and millions. Nope, we got more prisoners because we have all those laws because the government doesn't give a fuck about you. They don't. They don't care. So that's money that they get. Well, you don't get it, but they do. And what really matters to the government? The money that they can pull out of you. If it was your life on the line and $1 million, bye-bye, we got $1 million, eat our balls, bye-bye. Because they don't give a fuck. You're hearing it here. If you think they do, you're supposed to. You're supposed to believe they give a fuck. That's what they do. They keep you involved with, we give a fuck. But since they've taken everything away, how much fuck could they give? 0. Hey, Alaska Blue. I seen you up just a little bit ago too, man. Yeah, we are just a number. And that number has money attached to it. That's what they love. Anyway, you know what? Let me get back to the real subject at hand here because people are leaving and I understand why. The subject at hand here is Thomas Bruce. People, Thomas Bruce did it. He committed the Delphi murders. I assume that some of you do know who the channel Incognito Society. She'd made a video the other day and was talking about that in respect to the Innocence Society or however that plays out. 12 Cut, how you doing? And, was saying, well, if this does turn out to be true, Michael Catt's been talking about this for about a year. Because that's what I put below it. I said, yeah, I've been screaming this for pushing a year now. The same exact. And I forget the exact date because before that I would say this is likely Bridge Guy. But then when I found that date, and I'll need to look that up because on that date or shortly right thereafter, and I got the telephone conversation, that's when I called Evansdale. That's when I spoke to the main guy investigating the case. That's when it went on record that I called him. And I just want to be clear on that. And it's not about the FBI reward money. It's about the accreditation because that means everything to me is the credit. Yeah. You know what? Damn, man, that's what I should have did right there, Dave. Man, right there. Because what I should have did was went and got that new picture of him and made a comparison to this sketch because even with the long beard right here on the side and everything, when you look at his face, man, it's just like people, you don't get no more duplicate to that sketch. And I'm talking about the first sketch. Right now, I am talking about the real sketch, the first one, the real one. The second one was generic. It was put out there so it didn't look like him, so questions would not be raised in due time about him. That's why. But the first sketch, the real sketch, yeah, it was because it literally was made after him. That's what is true and positive. They made that sketch because that's the man they seen. Yeah, they are. Exactly. Exactly. And you know what? I find that hard a little bit to believe that it's like that. Because how can you have a guy with soulless eyes that everybody thinks is nice, friendly, cheerful, loving, compassionate? Everybody that knew him. I mean, the guy must have been a great actor. Or when he was drinking, a flip side of his personality just came out of him. Something along that line. Because if you look at his eyes, and again, another connection made, they're not blue. The person that seen him said, I don't know his exact eye color, but I can say this. They weren't blue. He didn't have blue eyes. Oh. Ow. Ow, man. Ow. Okay, I gotta be there. Ow. I need to watch that. So, because they come to my house, dude, I got blue eyes. Look at me. Look at me. You know I'm not him. Maybe the hat was like, well, you got a hat kind of like that. They said not to look at the hat, investigator. God, don't you listen to the fucking law enforcement? Thank you, Lisa M. No, no, I didn't actually. No, I was just pointing at my eye. Ow, ow. Yeah. It looks funny. It's my idea of comedy on the spot. You know, I'll put my ow. See, you do it all day long. All right. I know, and I don't want to be this guy, but I am. So, party on, guys. Yeah, yeah, you bet. Absolutely. Absolutely, he did. Uh-huh. You know what? There was a lot of people arrested, man, after that because they was turned in as the Delphi suspect. They go to their house, they're talking to them, and well, hey, but aren't you so and so? Yeah, well, we got a warrant for your arrest. Yeah, there was a lot of people hit for that, and I can give you the one that really pisses me off more than anything. Ronald Logan. Ronald Logan is an innocent man. An innocent man. He had nothing, nada to do with this crime. He don't even know the man who did this crime. But everybody in Carroll County, right off the go, he did it! Burn him! Because people are idiots, man. People are idiots about like that kind of shit. No, he don't. And well, but there's a reason for that, Alaska Blue. He's 45 days older than I am. I know that doesn't seem like much, but you know what? Watch my videos after 45 days from now. You'll see that my hair will look a lot like his. I mean, you'll notice that. It's just an age thing. Yeah, you see, I can't hop on that right there with him being 18 or 19 on that. What do you mean he pissed you off? Ronald Logan pissed you off, man? Why? What did he do to you? Yeah, right. Well, exactly. And that was the lowdown. When the FBI asked Thomas Bruce where he was, and I might be reversing these, I'm not exactly sure, but I know the two accounts. He told him that somebody had took him to buy tropical fish. All right. Then he turns around and he tells like a news place that was at his house. Well, let's see. I was, at a doctor's office getting checkup, and and then the FBI is like, "Hey, wait a minute, wait, let's get him back in here and talk to him again." And then they got his like ID and all like this shit. I think they ran his credit card, and they're like, check that out that he had bought a pizza and a beer there at America's. Went there, asked with his picture, and they're like, oh yeah, he was in here. So drinking and driving with a beer because he was on a DUI probation. Yeah, they hit him with a probation violation, and that's why he was arrested. But because he had lied to the FBI, they did an entire house of searched his entire house, everything. They're taking his truck, they're in there wrecking that damn place. They don't give a fuck. They don't give dick one. Yes. Yeah. You know what? I can't say he was on camera. He may have been. I mean, it was at a Pizza King. I'm not saying he wasn't, but they do know because of the people stated, yeah, he was here and he had used his credit card to purchase it. And that's why I think that's why they didn't let the probation violation slide, because I think that was one of a couple of DUIs he had prior to that. And on that last one, lying to the FBI, about circumstances involving a case like this, high profile. Yeah, they sent him on. And then we wrote him a letter. And then after we wrote him a letter, we realized he didn't fucking write us back. So we went to his modification trial, and Greeno said, do you have anything to say, Mr. Logan? He didn't even flip us off, man. He didn't even give us that. Mr. Logan. Okay. So does anybody have a topic of discussion on Delphi or Evansdale? If you do, please drop it down in the comments section. I'll be happy to get to it. There's 52 people here and you guys didn't show up for nothing. If you did, you have not been disappointed. I want to point that out. Because the only thing I've talked about that was really new was the fact of the new case. And the new case, it doesn't really impress me for obvious reasons. That was a brutal slaying. This woman was raped and brutalized, heavily mutilated. Now, at 19 years old, it's a little prior, especially given the fact of where he was in like a military schooling at aviation, to go off and do something like that. I mean, normally it sets in after a while, after puberty and those feelings grow and mature and keep going, and usually, not always, and it's dependent upon the serial killer. But the point is that normally around the ages of about 30 to 35 is about when they begin. Now that's not to say that a person could not after that or before that. It is dependent upon the person. Ed Kemper. Ed Kemper's a prime example. He killed his grandmother when he was 12. He was 12, man, and killed her. And they sided with him. I mean, like straight off the go, man. The court's all like, yeah, man, this is definitely a misunderstood kid. And he was. He legitimately was a misunderstood kid, man. He was kind of, I don't want to say like his mom twisted his arm, but it was how he was raised by his mother that led to it. And that definitely held true in his case. So it can be dependent upon the person, where they are upstairs, how far it's progressed. I mean, it's like a scope of criminal behavior as to the whys. I mean, I can't go, like I've said, man, I can't go into like why a person does that. For what reason would a man that age, my age, go kill two little girls? You don't kill two little girls. They're innocent beings that are out there hiking. The one thing that we should do as being elder is to look after them or make sure that no stranger walks up upon them. I mean, that's the right thing to do. But to go kill them? Well, why? There's got to be a motive. There's got to be a reason. Now I can't entertain as to why somebody would go do that. But I can look at it and say that criminal behavior usually dictates that if it's an older guy that just for whatever reason abducts two girls and then kills them, either A, it was because somebody wanted those girls dead and they was getting paid for it, like a hit job or something like that, or two, there was an intermental motive. And if it's an older man, two younger girls, chances are it's probably a sexual motive. And that's why I said off the go, there's probably going to be an amount of DNA at the crime scene. Well, there was DNA at the crime scene, but we don't know from where. We don't know how they obtained that. We don't know the cause of death. We don't know the inner reason. We can speculate as to why, but we don't know. And that's what law enforcement wants, because we shouldn't know that. And this is the safeguard against a false confession. Well, why did you do it? Well, can you tell us what you did? Could you be more detailed and write this out, in text and verbally tell us to every degree of what transpired? Because you want to know why, because you got to have this when you go to court. You can't say, well, I just wanted to kill two people. Well, if you go into court and he says he just wanted to kill two people. Well, I changed my mind. I didn't really want to, that's how it is. You've got to have that overwhelming evidence, because if you don't, that guy's going to walk. Bye, Miss Chris. Oh, dog walking time. I hear you. And thanks for being here. What's up, AJ Doman? Ain't seen you in a couple minutes. Peace, Dave. If you're taking off, didn't know you was taking off. It's going to be a long ride over the next year. Now, I got my other channel set up at UCC1, and actually the last time I went there, because there's like 0 videos there, but I had like 27 subscribers. And I'm thinking like, crap, and I'm not really talking anything yet on that channel, but it's for the reason that I'm not done with all my prerequisite stuff that I want done prior to starting that channel. But what I am going to do is I'm going to start a channel in my business name. That way it's all business copyrighted. And that will be Michael Leroy Stroop, LLC. I will make that channel on the same as this channel, the same as UCC1 is attached to this channel, as will be Michael Leroy Stroop, all in capital letters, LLC, all in capital letters, with a space between each one, including to the LLC, but not in between the L, and the C. Dave's on guard. Right on, Dave. It's nice to have a man on guard for trolls. Do you know who would respect a man that's on guard against trolls? Con would. Con. When you say surely they have something else, what are you speaking about? Let me roll up here real quick. You know what? Okay, I see what you're talking about. No, I think as of right now, because you're looking back at 1985, for anybody, including me, to say where I was at any specific date back then, I'd be like, I don't know. Shit, man, I could have been anywhere in about 20 states at that time. You know, it would be hard for me to say, and it would be hard for them to prove, because they already convicted somebody and executed them. You know, they'd have that to talk about. They would have that to throw around. They'd have that to pay for. They would have to pay out millions and millions of dollars. And again, I think because that man was executed, if it just so happened to be Thomas Bruce's DNA in that underwear, they would never talk about it, because he's already got life without parole here. He will get something here in Delphi. He'll get probably equal or less than in Evansdale. I don't think that will ever come out. I think that will remain very much a secret. Besides that, Tennessee is not investigating Thomas Bruce. They brought that to Tennessee, that we would like for you to check that DNA against Thomas Bruce. Well, if they say, well, we will, okay, they're not going to tell them they will, but let's say they do, and they send that in, and it comes back it's Thomas Bruce. They will hide that fact. They will hide that fact because they would have to pay out millions, and a man is dead. And if they tried to hit Thomas Bruce for it, Thomas Bruce's defense would be easy. You executed a man for this. And now you're trying me? And he would walk. And who's going to look stupid? The state of Tennessee. And that's why I don't think that they would come out with that. It is. It's all about the money. Well, it isn't. You know what? It may seem that way. It may seem that way, okay, that it's circumstantial. Let me tell you about a true fact, man. This is the honest to God. I think that the year was 1985, early 85. I was flying back from Germany, okay, and I went to Remain Air Force Base to get on the plane. It was from Air Force. And when I got to Remain Air Force Base, down the Autobahn, there was a line for miles back from the Air Force Base to get in. And I was trying to make a flight, okay? Now, as I'm waiting and waiting, and it took us the better part of, I'm going to say it was 2.5 hours from the time we hit that line going in to the time we actually got in to Remain Air Force Base, because there had been a terrorist attack. That right before we got there, a guy got out of his car. He went back to get in. Boom, the car blows up. Terrorist. Oddly, on the day I was getting on a plane at that Air Force Base, you know, just out time I got to Philadelphia, I was 1 day late because when I got on the plane, and this is after a very extended time because they had to delay the takeoff time for hours. I think it was 12 hours after it was initially a takeoff before it finally took off. When it did take off, we got out over the Atlantic. Some kid in the back damn near cut his pinky off. I don't even know how, but damn near cut it off. And I see him dumping the fuel, and we was returning back. Well, when we get there, they explained why. They dumped all the fuel. We all had to get off the plane. We all had to go back through security. And again, by the time I got to Philadelphia, I was over 1 day late getting there. It's about the circumstances. Yeah, you know what? I mean, there could have been a brutal murder that happened around that city. I mean, for the same way of like, I went to Fort McClellan, Alabama for basic training. And if there had been a murder in the town of Anniston, the city right there, at that time, it wouldn't have been a coincidence that I was there. It would have been odd. I mean, if I was later pointed to and it did a like type murder, but it would only be somewhat circumstantial. And I mean, I do get it. The fact that he was at that school at the same time as she, coincidental, maybe. But if you look back at everybody that was in or around, I mean, like, you know, I'm sure that there was other people who had at least been convicted of a murder. I'm not saying his classmates totally, but I mean just in and around that area. Oh, Alaskan Blues back. Oh yeah, like and subscribe if you would. You know what? I got 54 people here. Probably only a handful of thumbs up. Probably only a handful. Oh, but the trolls. The trolls always show their mark. They like to show up and give a thumbs down. It means things to them. They enjoy it. They think it gives a fuck to me when it really don't. I enjoy the view. I do. Well, I can't say that. Wolf enjoys the view too. He does. I mean, I tell him. I say, hey, look at the added views we got. That's how many pieces of shit we've sent on. Thanks for the view. Thanks for the views. Yeah, perhaps, but Ivy Rose, there is something to that. I mean, everybody thinks that DNA is everything. Like I've already said 1.5 million times over, it isn't. It isn't. A person can get my DNA and put it anywhere they want in the world, anywhere. Hell, they can take my DNA and, you know, at a crime scene, put it in some like little places here, you know, let's give it, okay. And they can place it there. And, you know, I would take their advice of their experts. Well, if it's like 5 billion to 1, it's got to be me. Well, shit, man. I mean, I watched CSI. I'm sorry, Your Honor. I had to have done it. Well, it's my DNA. I'm listening to your expert. That's mine. There's no way out for me. I have no defense. The best thing I can do is just confess and say, well, you got my DNA. There it is, man. That's my DNA. And you got to have evidence. Because if you don't have evidence that that man was there and just his DNA was there, and that's the leg you're standing on, good luck. Because I think that a proper defense would tear that apart really quick, real fast. It's not CSI, people. It don't work like that. It's the real world. You got real defense. You got people out there, man. It doesn't all depend upon DNA. DNA can help. And depending upon where it's found, it can help even more. But it's only a piece of that bigger puzzle. And please, stop stating like DNA is everything. They have DNA, case solved. No, hardly. In fact, quite the opposite thereof. That does not solve the case. It can help solve the case, but that's not the only definite that does. Yes, Wolf does love thumbs up. However, if it's for me, he only slightly gives a shit. If it's for him, oh, yeah. Then he's all sitting in front of the computer watching, hitting refresh every couple minutes. Oh, I got another one. Oh, that's because I ate the bologna sandwich, right? You know, then he expects stuff for it. You know, he thinks he gets fed for watching Thumbs Up. Yeah, look at him, man. He knows what I'm talking about. Oh, man, I missed. What are you guys Googling? Oh, Susan Collins. You know what? Yeah. And you know what? If somebody could help me with that a little bit, if somebody really has looked into that murder of Susan Collins, reach me with any information that you have and where I can find it. I wanted to look into it, but I have been very busy as of late. Allow me to explain why. My hero, a man of whom I shall call Sergeant Morpheus, Icons, told me to read a book. So I read that book. Not once, but twice. In 3 days. I do what I can. He's an important man that knows common sense. I love that. I can talk to a man that has common sense. Actually, I can listen to a man who has common sense. You know what? No. No, and I've been regular. I have been quite regular. You know what? A blood test could, but you know, it's one of those things. If you got blood at a crime scene, okay, then they might test your blood, but that blood also contains DNA. Okay, so they can't take the DNA from the blood and then do DNA in like manner. You see what I mean? But it might be dependent upon what was there. Like, well, we got type O blood, O positive blood. Well, he's got type O positive blood. Well, that could count. But if it comes down like DNA, which is now more often used now today than it ever was, and now it's growing to a crazy amount where before long they're going to know everybody's DNA. And I want everybody to think about that they have everybody's DNA. Well, a person can frame me with your DNA. It's easy to get someone's DNA. I could get someone's DNA and they not even know about it. I could put it at a crime scene. I mean, of something that I did and put it in like little things, just, where this person would have touched this or that and blah, blah, blah. Well, when they go through and test that, hey, we got DNA and we're looking for that. And we think it's you. Well, I wasn't there. Well, you're going to have to explain that to the judge because that would be how they could play it if it was just DNA. And again, I do not trust DNA. Not just DNA. DNA can help a case, most definite. It can nail somebody. I'll give it that. But the thing is they got to have more DNA. If it was just DNA and they had nothing else on the guy, they'd say your DNA was there. Can you explain how it got there? No, I can't. I can't explain how my DNA got there. I positively was not there. Well, they say this is your DNA. Well, I'm saying they're wrong. Well, you're going to have to explain that to a judge. We got DNA. You see my point? What is wrong with my subscriber total, Mark? Because when people add LOL, much in the way of con, it annoys me. If you are laughing at me, just tell me. Have balls. Because I will send you out of here in a quick hurry. Or I will apologize, one or the other. Mark? Mark must have left. Groovy. Okay, so where was I? 61 people here. I don't want them to become disappointed. I try not to disappoint. I want questions, and I want good questions. This is a Q&A. Did anybody catch that? I mean, did anybody see on the thing there on Facebook that it was Q&A? Oh, Q&A means questions and then answers. That's the Q is for the questions, and the A is the answers that I shall give unto them. That's what I do at a Q&A. I answer questions. Well, that's it, man. Chest down. Alaska Blue is on the job. LOL Mike. Okay. Does anybody have like a question? Yes, go ahead, Lisa. Chat's up for you. Give me a question. No, apparently it is still fine. It was just a lack of anybody saying anything, which makes me think I'm sitting here talking to a camera. Which I am. Literally, I'm in my house, me and Wolf, and I'm talking to a camera. That's how I kill a day. That's how I kill an evening. Okay, well, allow me to ramble. Well, you may or may not have, but I appreciate it nonetheless. It was just I thought he was trying to be a dick, and when I see somebody trying to be a dick, I tell him to go dick off. Are you speaking about in Delphi, Kid Carson? In Delphi, yes. Yes, and I know that for a couple of reasons. In July of 2017, after a Facebooker turned me in because he didn't like a video that I made, and I had this hat on, he got the brilliant idea because he didn't know shit about the case that he must be that guy. I'm turning him in. So they came to my house, man. Now, at that time, we had the county pool guy out here because we got an outside pool, and he said, "But you guys have a pool?" Yes. Why are you asking? Well, I'm from the county. Okay. And well, if you have a pool, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? You're not seeing the pool. Well, guess what? I can't show it to you. It does not belong to me, sir. Bye. Well, I don't give a flying fuck what you have, sir. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to tell you that right now. I don't give two fucks or a shit about it. Told you to go fuck off. Why aren't you doing so? Because they're about revenue. That's all it's about. It's revenue. They don't give a fuck about anybody. It's about getting money. So when somebody's pounding at my door and they wake me up in the morning and I haven't had coffee, I go outside with a real fucking attitude, a real bad attitude. Now this guy's pounding at my door and he looked a lot like that pool guy. So I say to the guy, yeah, I'm over here. What the fuck do you need at this time of the day? And the guy turned around and I seen he had a badge right there. And I'm like, ooh, sir, I'm sorry. I seriously thought you was somebody else. Honestly, I swear that to you. So he comes over. Now, this is the way this transpired. I want you to understand. I had called my mom, my stepmom. It was the day before. I believe it was the day before that. The morning before that. Now, she told me that Howard County law enforcement had called out to their house asking if I lived there. And she said, no, he doesn't live here. And they wanted to know where you lived, Mike. Okay. Well, tell them. I mean, they ain't going to warrant it. They didn't do anything. I'm like, what did they want? Well, they said it was about your aunt. And I'm like, my aunt? Man, I only have one aunt in Howard County, and she's damn near 90. I'm certain she ain't out breaking the law. That's really weird. So when this guy walks over to me, the investigator from Howard County, I said, what do you want to know about my aunt for? He goes, your aunt? I said, yeah, my stepmom said you wanted to talk to me about my aunt. He's like, no, this ain't about your aunt. This is about the Delphi murders. I'm like, oh, okay. All right, got him. I got it. What do you want to know, man? What do you need to know, dude? I said, look at me. Do I look like Bridge Guy? My eyes are blue. Look at my hair. Look at me. I ain't that guy, man. I ain't him. Well, can anybody say, yeah, everybody. I don't even drive, and I damn sure wasn't in Delphi. Anybody and everybody would have knew of that. Yeah, I got 9 people right here that will tell you I was here that day. All right, well, I get your point. And this is what he said. But in July, after I had already asked Sheriff Lesenby in an interview if they had DNA, he backed that up with, but we can't clear you without a DNA sample. And I looked at him and I'm like, snap. So they got DNA, huh? They got DNA. Well, you're not getting my DNA. There you go. Well, they might want your DNA. So, okay, fine. If they want my DNA and they're going to take this information and give it to a judge who's going to demand it by a subpoena, tell them to bring that to me because I will own their fucking ass. All right. Okay. All right. You have a good day. You too, sir. Have a good one. Last I heard from them. That is when I originally found out they had DNA, was at that moment. And I made a video on my old channel talking about it immediately. They have DNA. This is how I know. Now, not long after that, because anybody who was being inquired upon by investigators was being asked for their DNA. And people were talking about that because that's what people do. They talk. Now, I had heard it talked about that they was asking for DNA, but then I knew. And that's how I knew they had DNA. Shortly thereafter, they come out and they say, we got DNA of the suspect. Well, that's a long time when it's on fast track and it takes 10 days to go from February to, man, that may have been into August before they actually said, we have DNA of the suspect. So that's how I know that they have DNA. Now, people, as soon as you say DNA, they'll go, but it's corrupted. There was a guy there that was searching that touched him. We don't know where that DNA came from, people. You know, that guy didn't just go around doing this to everything. You know, we don't know where that DNA came from. And only CSI from the FBI and state and maybe local law enforcement could tell you that. However, they will not, because that's part of their investigation. Indiana code, woo, whipty, woo, blah, 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 blah. We ain't fucking telling you. Yeah. Thanks, Alaskan Blue. You know what? I take great pride in my hair. God, I got some beautiful hair, man. Shit. I ain't seen hair like that since, God, 80s hair metal. I don't know. It's been a long time. Well, you know what? Thank you for that question there. And I'll tell you what. This is my thoughts upon that. When Evansdale and the Delphi murders happened, when they occurred, there was not that genealogical, that ancestral DNA out there. Nobody had heard of it. Okay. Now, when that came out, and that was in July of 2018, was it not? Yes, it was in July of 2018. That's when John D. Miller was arrested in Fort Wayne, Indiana for a 30-year-old rape and murder of 8-year-old April Tinsley. He had never did anything. He had never been arrested. He had no DNA in the CODIS system. Exactly like my suspect. Identical. 0 in the CODIS. Now, they used the genealogical DNA to narrow the name down, to trace it down to a family, to trace it on down, and then they had to manually set down and diagram out the entire family tree from where the software could not take it down any further. And they narrowed that down to 2 brothers. And she told them at that time, this is after working on it for 2 months, 60 days. She said, it's one of these 2 men right here. They went through their garbage, got things that had their DNA on them that they could test against. Now, this is the freaky part. John D. Miller had in his trash used condoms. He wasn't even with a woman. Okay. He left used condoms, sent used condoms, put them in the mailboxes with a note saying, "You're the next one," and kids, man, up in Fort Wayne or around that area. And he had used condoms in his trash. The guy was like really sick. But when they compared that DNA back to the DNA they had, they're like, yeah, that's a straight match. Do you know why we're here? Is it about April Tinsley? Yeah, you bet it is, pal. You bet your ass. So we got a hold of Sheriff Lesnby and asked him about that. He says, well, that's new technology. He goes, I've heard about it, through, the Fort Wayne police there. And, but he wanted to reach CC Moore. Now, she had contacted back on the video that I did. And I believe it's on this channel right here. And she had made mention. She says, oh, no, I followed the Delphi case since it occurred. She goes, if I was asked by law enforcement to work on that, I would do it in a quick hurry. Now, when I got contacted Sheriff Lesnby, he wanted her contact information. We sent it to him. Now, it wasn't great contact information, but I said, this is how I would reach her, and this is how it says to reach her. You should have no problem getting through to her. Well, it was in the newspaper, and I'm not saying on my behalf. I'm not trying to take any amount of credit on that at all. I'm just saying what had happened because, look, I didn't tell him to use it. Okay, this was already in their head before I even made contact, I'm sure. But in the newspaper article, it did say that Carroll County was using the same technology as was used to get John D. Miller. Now, I made a video talking about that. And after a couple of months, I was like, well, what's up? If you're using that same technology and it took her 2 months to nail this guy with the last name of Miller, why ain't we hearing anything? What's going on? Why ain't a man arrested? Well, this is my reasoning. Thomas Bruce had never been arrested before in his life. Not once. Okay? But in 3 months' time, in September of last year, September 27th, he sexually assaulted a 77-year-old lady. The following month, he's pulled over on the highway for driving insane and acting insane and driving erratic. And was drunk. I want to point that out. But he was allowed to go home like a good man. Oh, just going home, man. Sleep it off. You're all right. But the month after, in November, that's when it broke, man. That's when he went to a Catholic supply store and committed that. That's when he went in and did that murder. Now, why would a man who had never been arrested go out and commit those three right there, right in his backyard? Because he knew. He knew that knock was going to come. He knew he left DNA. He knew they could trace it right to him. He knew it wouldn't be a problem at all because this is the first time that he had heard about that. Not from me. I'm not saying he got that from me. But what I'm saying is he heard about it the same as we all did. And when he knew they was going to come knocking at his door, he was going to go out on his own terms. And that's what he did. That's exactly what he did. Because when he committed that sexual assault and homicide at the Catholic supply store, he knew he was going to be arrested. There was no way out. He could have woke up from a drunken intoxication and his first thought would have been, yeah, I'm hit. Yeah, I'm hit for that. There's no doubt about it, man. Within a day or two, they're busting in my house. They're going to bust right in my house and get me because he left everything behind. It was almost as if it was purposely done to be caught. And it could have been. It very well may have been. Oh, if you was asking B. Smith, that was my reasoning. It was because the ancestral DNA. Once he found out that they had that and that they could trace it right to him, he knew it was just a matter of time till they come knocking. So if he was going to do something, he might as well just go out. Hey, if he gets caught, he was already going to be caught anyway. $52 likes? Really? Oh, man. Woof. Hey, there. 58 people here with 52 thumbs up. Yeah, no. Oh, I'm happy too. Oh man, you know what? You should see the face of my little bear right now. He's beaming. He's beaming. Hold on. I will show you his face right now. Wait, no, I can't. It's right here. That's why. Bam. Where's my little wolf bear? There he is. Boom. That's my little woofer. Look at him beaming, people. Would you look at the beam in his face? He's got little sunglasses on, the little thug wolf blunt in his mouth. Yeah, he's a special bear, man. It's my special little baby puppy Woo. I love him the most. The most. I better get back to the comments. Oh, I am vaping deep fried banana by Fried. I love Fried. God, Fried's good, man. They got deep fried ice cream. They got deep fried Twinkie. They got deep fried Oreos. They got deep fried banana with a hint of pecan. And they also got deep fried watermelon. I'm going to try the fucking watermelon. I bet it's the shit, man. I bet it's the total bomb diggity. Smart Money says. Yeah. Oh, man, dude. Yeah. You know, let me tell you about the Falling Down movie. That shit's me, man. That is me on a regular basis. When I leave my house and I go into town, the first thing I start thinking about is like how much my hair looks like that of Michael Douglas. I swear to God. Just like, listen to me, you son of a bitch. All I fucking said was, you know, that's how I feel when I go around people, man. I fixed it. Just go off, man. I don't think I did Alaska. 12 cut. Hold on. Yeah. Right. No, I do, but I think that's making way too much of any numerology. It just is. I mean, there are some examples like a reverse date. Look, if you got 5 digits, and you reverse them, that will only happen once in 100 years, because you could do the same when it's 2117. You know, you would still just use the 17 at the end. Okay, now if you used all the digits like 2017, then it would be once in like an eternity, because the number would never repeat. But with a 5 digit with just the last 2 on it, then it's once every 100 years. But the oddity is, a crime was committed in Evansdale, one identical to it 5 years later on the reverse date happens in a different state. That's fucking odd, man. That's over the top. And that gave me reason to believe, after finding that route, after saying, you know what, now, I mean, the only thing that was holding me back is, 1, I didn't have a car in Evansdale. 2, and the video of the guy, you still can't tell. You can look at that and look at the way he walks. And I've showed the video of how Thomas Bruce walks and the Delphi suspect walks. Okay? Both hands in the pockets, both head down, both same identical, because they're both the same. They're both the same guy. Thomas Bruce is the guy that's in the Delphi video. That is what it is. You know what? Oh, wait, hang on. I want to get on this real quick. People are lying. People are lying. You know what? I smoked for, God, what was it? 41 years. 41 years I smoked cigarettes. And I got one of those e-cigarettes, and I'm like, you know what? I could use this, and at the end of the day, maybe only smoke 3 cigarettes, because I needed that nicotine, you know, that this wasn't giving me. Then I got one of those little mini fogs. Okay, that gave off a bit more vape. And I'm like, you know what? I could probably quit right now with this. But then once I got that smoke, right, like this right here, hang on. I can literally cloud a room. I mean, this right here has got 6 milligrams per milliliter. Hold on. I get my nicotine. This shit will buzz you, man. You take a big giant hit, you're going to feel that nicotine. And if I get my nicotine, that's smoking. This doesn't taste like shit like a cigarette. I don't have to light it. It doesn't give me lung cancer. This is like safe. It's safe. I get my nicotine. There it is. But I'm not getting lung cancer. I'm not ingesting smoke and like 350 chemicals added to that tobacco. This is FDA approved. Why does big tobacco want it gone? Because it's hurting their revenue. People are switching to this. And they said, if we ban it, if we say it's bad, if we can just swing the words around and say vaping will cause this, we can make states ban it and they can still get big tobacco money and the world will cheer and go, yay. And then they'll all go march for a cure for cancer because you guys don't understand. They got it already. They're just taking your money because they just don't give a fuck. Yep. Bam. You know what? I dedicate this show right here to Lisa M. You rock. You know what? I did try the gum. And in fact, for a while, and those are still online here, man, I had a vape channel, or I mean a dip channel. I think it was called 420 Dip Review, because my nickname's Mr. Cat 420. Well, it's just like that because like on Gmail, there was 419 Mr. Cats before me. I had to use 420. So, but, dip worked. I mean, because I was getting that nicotine. I was getting it in a higher degree. But if I had to throw up a comparison, I'd rather hit this than have to spit in a cup all day. I mean, this is like clean, man. This is vape. It ain't even smoke. It's vape coming out. Man, I got a friend that's like, oh, I can't do that, man. It hurts my lungs. I said, man, just take a hit. See? I'm like, dude, you was coughing before it even hit your mouth, man. Give me that, you freaking baby. People, man. Well, hang on. See this right here, man. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can. See how this right here is like half full? That's like a 10 milliliter, man. I can fill that thing up. And just hit this right here. Just squeeze that in a little. And it pushes the vape juice like right up through the wick. Bam. Just solidly set it back up. Now watch this cloud, man. Oh, you probably can't because you're right in front of me. But just watch. Lightning, man. You expect lightning to come out of that, don't you? Yeah. Whoa, man. Hang on. Okay, I gotta stop. Start getting a little tore up on nicotine, man. I don't want to be here all intoxicated and the like. 2 heart attacks. Oh, dear God, man. No, quit. Just stop, Lily. Just don't. Look, man, I quit alcohol. I quit drinking. I have never met the alcoholic worse than me. They're out there. I'm sure that they are, but I have been to the slums, the ghettos, the alleys. I have made my way across America, and I have seen the mass of alcoholics. I would damn near die. If alcohol was taken away, my body would just shut down. I would be freaking out mentally. I couldn't sleep for 4 days. I would just be dead inside. And I stopped because I realized that alcohol owned me. It literally did. I was physically addicted to alcohol. And I knew that for years. I knew that for 12 years. I mean, I was full understanding of how it was and how it went. But there came that day, man. I woke up in a room full of empty bottles, no money to get alcohol. And I knew I was going to sit there and I was going to suffer inside my house for 4 days. And I made a decision at that time that it's for my best good. I need to stop, man. I need to I've been through rehab. I know the steps. I'm doing it. And once you put it in your heart, it's what you have in your heart that you live. You can say, I don't do these things because of this, but if it's in your heart, you still can. You still will. You're still driven toward. You've got to take it out of your heart that you desire to do that or find a different way. Because, look, man, 2 heart attacks, I don't want that. I don't want that for you. And I'm sure that you would feel the same way. Well, I wasn't speaking about vaping. I was talking about smoking cigarettes. Me? Oh, I'm drinking a Dr. K. Hey, if you're thirsty and you want a delightful soda that tastes really good, look no further than Dr. K. Mm-mm. That's a taste that is soothing and relaxing. They're a proud endorser. Oh, what were I? No, what I was drinking, anything with alcohol. Anything. Hey, dude, well, I got beer, but I don't know. It's just I said, I don't give a shit, dude. It's got alcohol in it. And you got any more? And honestly, there's a reason why they call them winos, because the cheapest way to get drunk is on the 20% wine. Well, it's 20%, but I think at that time Mad Dog was 18. I'd usually get Mad Dog Grape because it was 18%. It was $3 a bottle. Easy enough to go get 3 of them, and for $10, there you are. Oh wait, I missed it. Dave Blue or Dave Bull? Yeah, right, exactly. And you know what? Thank you very much for saying that, because I did. Not only did I lose everything, I lost absolutely everything. Um, when the alcoholism developed, I was in Vegas. That was in 1988. No, maybe that was 89. I need to think about that for a minute. But that's when I first started noticing that I get the shakes. Well, I didn't think anything about the shakes off the go, because I thought I woke up, man, I was drinking, I'm like nervous, this kind of thing. And I think that that's what everybody attributes it to at first. But then it's that you get a drink, the shakes go away, but then you realize when the alcohol is gone, you start getting the shake. But it's progressive, because at first they'll just be shakes. That's it. You just got a little shakes, maybe a little nervous upstairs, but it keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. That is the progression of the disease. And people say, well, all these addicted people choose their disease. No, let me tell you, the one thing I didn't do is say, I want to be a fucking alcoholic. It ruined my education that I was going to get. I didn't go to college to finish my education. It ruined my livelihood, what I was doing at the time. The woman I was with lost that. I walked away from everything. I walked away from it all, everything, because I had to have alcohol. And if it was not made available and I had money, I wasn't paying that. I wasn't paying rent. I wasn't going to do this and I wasn't going to do that because I needed alcohol. And it was that plain and simple. And I says, bye. And I just left. I walked away from everything. And I don't say that for pity. I mean, I look back because that was now a long time ago. My life certainly changed after I quit drinking. It went back to, at least in part, after a long spell, of at least now I can look back at my life and say, well, I do have those regrets, but those are my only regrets. Yeah, everybody did. Yeah, everybody did. Even my friends said, dude, you're going to die. I mean, I had a brain aneurysm, kept drinking. Nothing really affected that. I mean, nothing. I mean, that is being owned by that drug. People on crack, people on heroin. I don't think that meth is physically addicting, but it is definitely mentally addicting, psychologically so. Yeah, nobody is, Peaches. Whew. Let me tell you about some stuff, man. And I mean, no offense to anybody out here who may be watching that this occurred to, but you know who you are. Man, I woke up next to some women and thought, oh my fucking God. No, no. Oh God, no. Oh God. Oh God. Because you don't make good decisions when you're drunk, man. Yeah, sounds good to me. Yeah. Mm. Well, I could say that Alaska Blue, and I mean, I certainly give it a hand into it, but at the same time, it may have. It definitely played in, but I don't think that anybody, to my knowledge, has said that he's an alcoholic, that he was all the time drunk. I mean, like most people, yeah, he was nice, friendly, a cheerful guy, a really good guy. I think that when he was drinking, I think that that's what flipped his personality. You know, he went from this guy that everybody knew to this guy over here who just shouldn't have been human. He isn't human. He's a monster. He does monstrous things. Oh, that's very good. Very good, Dave. In fact, you know what? I'm grateful to hear that. Um, there are people out there right now who's lost everything on account of alcohol or other drugs that are physically addicting, and they won't go back. There's not a return back to them for them. And I was telling, and I forget who it was now, but I was talking about the other day that a person's got to have it in their heart, you know, because I looked at my life through those 12 years and said, yeah, alcohol did that. Yeah, it's just fine though. I got alcohol. I don't care. See, I don't give a damn. Because that was me. But there's that way of waking up and saying, yeah, you know what? Everything is gone. It's all gone. And some people won't ever make it back. They will stay addicted until they die. So to anybody who is physically addicted and did quit, Godspeed, man. God be with you all. How about them Colts? How about them? How about them Colts? How about them? Doing better than the Cowboys. Let me scroll up here. Yes, I believe that he did, but I think that most serial killers, not all. I mean, that would be kind of silly to say all of them. Some of them are just mental and don't need it. Yeah, Peaches, you know, I'm going to throw that up there. But when people say it's a demon, you know what? You could be speaking of alcohol. You could be speaking of what was inside of him at that time. I don't believe in demons. Um, I don't believe in that. Not as fact. There is no Satan. There is no Lucifer. There is no demons. No angels. It's all spiritual hooey. I believe in a grand creator beyond anything and everything. I believe that there is a sole grand creator of everything. The nuclear furnaces that we call suns, the gravity, the chemistry, the making of the elements within those suns, that, you know, everything falls into a place where that everything is. And those planets going around the sun with that solar energy hitting them, and you got water, and that water with all those elements. It's all a matter of how life can become. And once life becomes, life can evolve. And once life can evolve, as you see, it becomes many things. Many things die, many things grow, many things take over the environment. Life is in constant change on Earth, constantly, always evolving, always changing, because that's the way the grand creator made it to be. Not here in 6 days, but throughout the pretty much endless universe. It was all set out to be that way, because to the grand creator is nothing. 15 billion years isn't a second. Don't mean anything. He lives forever. 15 seconds is a division of forever, of like what? Forever billions. I mean, you see where I'm at. We look at our life and go, well, God did it. God made it. God did it. Well, God did. I have no argument with that. But I don't believe in demons. I don't believe in angels. I don't believe in Christianity, Allah, or any of that crap. It's all earthly woo-ha. That's me. And now people are leaving. Now people are leaving quickly. Wait, what? Okay. Yeah. And you know what? I was a functioning alcoholic. When you say functioning, I worked a job. I paid my bills. I did everything, that a person is supposed to do while drinking. But as it progressed, the less I was going to. If a person is functional and an alcoholic, chances are they're more of a problem drinker and they're not really physically addicted. There's a lot of people out there that's told me, oh, I'm an alcoholic. You are? I mean, you're drinking. Oh, yeah. Well, this is the first time in a long time, but man, you should have seen, man, back in the day, dude. I mean, like I would drink and I'm like, they don't mean fuck about being an alcoholic. I don't care how much you drink. I mean, fuck, man. I mean, I could look back at some days and go, holy fuck, I'm glad I was alive, man. I'm glad I lived through that, man. The hospital said, it's how it progresses. Well, I agree with you to the point that God created everything. But when you say Satan is real, then I would have to believe that God created Satan. God had to have known what Satan would do, that Satan would take 1/3 of his angels, that Satan would tempt his first creations on earth of humankind, that then he would have to come and then he would have to say, oh no, you can't do this no more, and he'd have to suffer us all. He would have to sit, and I'm like, yeah, that's an all-loving God, no doubt about it. Oh yeah, I see where you're going. Yeah, totally. No, wrong. Satan is a fictional, just like the biblical God. There is no biblical God. The biblical God is what people said thousands of years ago. It was passed down. Today we can look at it and go, yeah, it's total squash. That's total crap. Sounds Christian. God's working this great big giant plan. He is. And I mean, we just live and we're a part of it, but you'll see it, when it happens. Yeah. No. And somebody asked me if I believed in reincarnation. Yes, honestly, I do. Yeah, because I mean, to me, it's who created me? Well, it depends on who you're asking. I mean, my parents. I mean, are you asking who created them, going all the way back? I mean, going all the way back to the first ever on Earth, that was created by basically a chemical process. I mean, the Earth was a giant petri dish. It didn't have anything on it. I mean, there was nothing living. It was just chemicals that was heated by the sun. I mean, do you see where I'm at? It's say who created me? Well, if you want to take it all the way back, the same that created everybody. It was the grand creator. But when you're talking about Earth, well, Earth is a little bitty, tiny microcosm spot in an endless universe. And to say God came down in 6 days. No. God put everything into a motion to create. That is God. God is huge. God is everything. I do not take that from it, but I do believe that Christianity and all the like and everything earthly is just earthly, blah, blah, blah. And if we met an alien and explained that to them, they'd go, yeah, that sounds stupid as shit, man. What are you guys smoking down there? Well, if evolution created you, who created evolution? Yeah, think about that. Oh, yeah, about reincarnation. I do, because I think that what happens is, look, what separates me from a kid in China that's bagging whatever over there at slave labor for 3 bags of rice a week, that has no education? That's what he's got to do to eat. He will never have education. He'll know anything larger than that, ever. He won't. Why am I here? Why is he there? Did he do something? I mean, did he upset God to have that life? You know, he doesn't know that there's better than that because he's never seen better than that. That's all that kid knows. You see where I'm at? Now, to say that that kid will go to hell because he didn't believe in Jesus Christ, well, would God just let him on in because he didn't hear about Jesus? Well, if that's so, then why did Jesus come here and die? If God can just let you in. Jesus said you only go to the Father by me. Well, that kid never hears of him. Guess what? He's going to hell. You see my point? But to say that I lived this life, I could die. I could have a heart attack right now and fall over dead. And you know what? I will have another life. Will it be here? Maybe. Will it be on another planet? Perhaps. Will it be throughout the endless universe in a different galaxy in a different way? Maybe. But you know what? Life never stops. It just keeps going. It's samsaric. It just keeps going. It's like taking second grade. Taking second grade. You take second grade. You're going to second grade. You keep going to second grade forever. There comes a time, if you could remember all your lives, that you would be like, but I've done this forever. I've lost all my loved ones. I've gotten sick. I've gotten old. I've died. I've been that starving kid, man, that was in China. You know, you have to live through it all, through everything, through every life. There has to be an account that you could give by your own spiritual soul to every life. That's me talking. But I did take a little bit of that from a Buddha, who was a great man who had a whole lot of common sense, beyond the ordinary. Yep, Satan blinded me. I wish he'd give back my short-term eyesight right there, just to up close. That would help. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. The 3rd year press conference will be there on the 13th. It will be held at the courthouse. No doubt it will be at the courthouse. They don't want me to be there. They don't want me to be there, but I will be. And this time I'm going to be out front. Same as I was the last time. And people go, Michael, get that. And I'll go, who in the fuck? Who is that? Man, why do people do that shit? Yes, yes. Excuse me. I mean, I don't think you guys understand. My dad is a preacher. I mean, now I'm talking about my real dad, the one that, you know, me and him and my mom, you see where I'm at? I was raised, I mean, not as a Christian. I wasn't raised as any denomination like that. But that's how I can read the Bible, and I have, and I know it very, very well. Actually, I know it better than most Christians do. I'm duly aware of what it says, but I can outright call it a lie. I can read it and say, yeah, it's a lie. Yeah, that shit never fucking happened. Nope. Look, man, I could take you through Genesis Genesis, where like Adam ate the fruit, and then God's like, "Where are you? Why are you wearing fig leaves? We're naked." Who told you that you was naked? Is this a test? Is it God? Is this some kind of test? Because you know we didn't know about that before we ate from the tree. Who do you think fucking told us? There ain't anybody here. Is God all seen? Well, apparently not by Genesis, because he's asking him questions that God already knew. And that's the point I make. Why would God ask a question if he already knew? Was he testing a guy that he knew that was, I mean, what was the guy going to do? Lie? Well, why do you think I fucking know that? I ate from the damn tree. God, man, I mean, you're not all that seen, pal. You know, I would like to speak on other crimes. But the thing is that Delphi is like a home. You know, I mean, I lived there outside of Delphi, up County Road 200 there. For a while. My dad moved out there, I believe, in 96. Or excuse me, in 86. And I had certainly went out there. I mean, like drove to Delphi, man. We coon hunted that whole area. I mean, there isn't a patch of woods there between where my dad lives and around and around Delphi that I ain't been in coon hunting. I mean, we've hunted every hunting woods there is. So it was very close to my heart that two young girls died while hiking. This is the exact stuff that I was telling my neighbors that lived down the way, man. It's less than it'd probably be about 100 and some feet south of me here. You know, they had a daughter that was that age. Their oldest daughter. No, actually, yeah, she was 13 when that happened. Well, she had a friend named Liberty. And when I came up here on the 14th and seen that happened and seen the names and the girl was 14, I went down there and asked them if Liberty was okay because I didn't know who this girl was. You see where I'm at? So I started looking into this crime because, look, we immediately got pictures of the guy. We got audio of the guy. We know the time that the guy was there. You know, and it started adding up. The FBI is there, man, with a big satellite dish back to Quantico. And me and Greeno sitting here like, okay, any minute this guy's going to be hit. You know, what's the holdup? You know, because I'm sitting there like the rest of the world waiting. Well, when's this guy going to be arrested? Well, what's the holdup? You guys got to have, you know, but they didn't have anything. Then they come out like 2 years later, just over 2 years later. Well, we feel the guy was from or lived around Delphi or worked in the Delphi area and knew the trail. And I'm like, bullshit. Bullshit. And I was pissed, man. I didn't go to that briefing. I could have. I didn't want to. I wanted to be right here, watch it on television so I could make a live show after the fact. It should still be on my channel if you look back at that time. And I was pretty angry. I was pretty angry because I knew that they was lying. I knew damn well they was lying. I already knew who did it at that point of February 13th. I was in the know on February the 13th. And I knew that new sketch was total bullshit. Total generic lie. This is a young picture of the guy, but neither one of them seen the guy without a hat on. How'd you get a sketch of the guy without a hat on when the guy was wearing a hat? That is exactly what we was told. Yeah, you had a hat on. Well, it might have been like yours or close to it. Would I? No. No, I wouldn't. And it's not because of the love for my daughter, which would be to the side of that. But I would understand what was going on to a degree because there is what law enforcement can do, and there are times when they can do it. And I would be in the understanding of they probably got the guy. I mean, because I'm not suggesting that the family watches my videos, but what I'm saying is that Anna, when they brought Daniel Nations back here from Colorado down to Johnson County, When he went to court that first time, Anna was there. She wanted to look at the guy. She wanted to see if it was him because so much had been made in the media about him being the person of interest. So I think, yeah, I would be rubbed the wrong way by it, but I think anybody would for love of their daughter like that. And again, that's why I don't really speak too much about the girls, because what happened at that crime was not released by law enforcement. And that's because if somebody came in and said they did it, how? Why? They want to know all these questions. Wow. You know what? I can think of a couple. Now, see, but that's exactly what I was telling them, Lily. That's what I was getting at a little bit ago. They had a daughter that was that age. Look, if you go to the middle of nowhere of central Indiana and you cut a left and go back a mile through the woods, that's where I live. I live out in the middle of nowhere, and I love it. Love it. They lived right down there, and they wouldn't let their kids go outside and play. Like, who do you think was going to hurt them? There could be somebody strange out there. We don't know. Here? You wouldn't see them coming? You don't think the kids like right outside your house would be, hey, where everybody would see it? They were overly protective like that of their kids. And it was for those reasons. Because was the news put out there? A grandmother today killed, it's anything to make you frightened of everyone. That everybody is an evil serial killer. Well, that's hardly the fact. That is definitely not the fact. I would go over there and hike all by myself all night, all day. Hell, I'd camp. I wouldn't give a shit. It's not because, I'm not just stating like, oh, I'm the bravest man ever. It's just a fact. It ain't going to happen. There ain't going to be some guy walk up there and just say, I'm here to kill people. It ain't going to happen. But again, that's what drove into my soul on this. 2 little girls never going home again. They will never be home. There is no justice that will ever, ever, ever pay for that. Even if they put him to death, it still will not bring them home. Well, don't call that psychic, because when you say anything psychic, I immediately write it off. Because when somebody says psychic anything, I'm like, stop, bye. Later, dude. Not you, but I'm just saying in the general context of it. I don't believe in psychics. I don't think there is anything psychic. I don't care what any scientist ever said psychically. I don't care what a psychic ever said. It's all bullshit. Oh, okay. Well, Terrence came on to say Thomas Bruce is not the killer. Go ahead. Terrence, you have 1 minute from right now to explain your side. Start typing. I wait, Terrence. Hold on a minute. Terrence is typing diligently. Oh, man. Damn it. Would somebody, anyone who believes that it is not Thomas Bruce, get a hold of me and explain your fucking reasoning? Because when people show up, it's not him. Well, then I can't wait to hear your evidence to the contrary. Lay it on me. Bye. Bye-bye. I just wanted to be a douche. Intuition. Intuition, circumstance. It's all the same. It's all the flip of a coin, ironically. It's all happenstance, probability, odds. Great people killed by an accident. Why did God take them? God didn't take them. The tree fell on them. They killed them. That is what it is. Good people die. Bad people die. We all die. We will all face death. Well, it's one thing. I would, Alaska. I mean, it is. If look, say as an example, some guy was on there, and I wanted to hear him talk concerning his person of interest. We'll call it. Well, I could get on there and listen to him, but the thing is if I was to say, and I have. In fact, not only have I did that on John Kelly's channel because, this is what it's a repeat of what I said before, but he had touched upon on his first Delphi video that he had followed the case since it started, that he knew the case, and that, he was going, and started going through that. And immediately, like within the first couple minutes, there was like 3 things that he said that was totally wrong. I was very, very respectful, and I wrote them very respectful. And I told him, and I'm like, sir, I would like to say that these right here things that you had said are wrong, and, you need to look into them. And in his follow-up video on that, he stated that, hey, I was wrong on these, and, this is what that was. And he pointed that out. But then he made a video thereafter that was inquiring upon, was Evansdale and Delphi done by the same suspect? He didn't believe so. In fact, I'm kind of quoting him here as the way I remember it. Evansdale done was by a more intelligent man who had set that, and went through all this. Now, I had watched that video, and I'm like, no, wait a minute. So I got a hold of him, and I said, look, John, I like your channel. I'll watch it here and there. But I do have some information, sir, that you may want to look at before totally holding on to that. Then he told me, he's like, well, I'm going to be gone over the weekend. But if you get onto my Facebook page and send it to me through there, I will read over it. And I did. And that following week, early that week, he got back a hold of me and said, I really liked your information. It was really good, and I appreciate that. And would it be okay with you if I gave that to my team? And I said, knock it out. I don't care. That's the information that I sent to you. Do as you will. So, but the thing is I would never go onto somebody's channel, even if I enjoyed listening to them talk. I wouldn't get on there and say, it's not him, if I did not have adequate evidence to show contrary. Because to do so, you look like a fucking troll. You know what happens? You get fucking booted. You know why? Because you're a fucking troll. That's why. Anybody else? I want to wrap this up here. 3 hours. Wow, 3 hours. Oh, hey, you know what? And I do want to throw this out. Last week, a lady had sent me a donation, and I sent her, well, actually, no, that was the other day. A lady had sent me a donation, and I sent her a letter back, which I do everybody who sends me a donation. And, well, man, wait, yeah, I you know what? I kind of retract that. I don't want to put that information exactly out, and I'm sorry, but it was her email that had kind of caught my attention. It was the name. It was legal something. And, hey, if you're watching, and I do remember your first name, but I ain't giving that out. But I do appreciate that. Oh, Ivy, you must be in the UK. Good night. And I will catch you another time. You know what? Yeah. Jed Knight. Um, there were people that I looked into. Daniel Nations was the only one that I ever held as a good person of interest. And he was a good person of interest. I mean, there was things there was knots that we couldn't tie, but we knew that. We knew the questions that we had, and we knew that they couldn't be answered because nobody was there to give an answer to them. So he was a good person of interest. Now, I do look into other crimes, man. I sit down one day to kind of cover crimes that I had looked over in my past, over my life. And that became a job writing them out. I mean, like literally a job. And the first one that I ever remember looking into specifically was the Helter Skelter, the Charles Manson case. I watched the movie, and that was a made for television movie in the 1970s, Helter Skelter. It was the original one. It was a 2-day because I think it was like 3+ hours long. I was very involved into it, but it was wrote by Vincent Bugliosi, the Los Angeles prosecutor at that time. That was really good, and it kind of got me into looking at crime, at murder. Now, it isn't something that I do, and I don't sit here like this is my job doing this. This is just what I do to pass along to you what I know, and that's all that amounts to. But if I look at all the cases that I have looked into over my life, it is a substantial amount, but all of them were solved. Okay. There was a very rare few that weren't solved. I mean, like look at the Zodiac as a prime example. There are some that aren't solved, but there is no way for me to make a determination of who did that. I ain't got the fingerprints. I have no DNA. I have no way to look at anybody who might be sketchy or who I might think. There's no way I can go back and look at that. This right here, the name was given to me through St. Louis Police Department when they contacted Carroll County. That's how I came up with the name. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have a clue who did it. You see where I'm at? I wouldn't have a clue. But when I was given a name, then I started looking into it. Started crossing off all the criteria. Well, he wasn't working at these times. He's got the right build. He don't have blue eyes. He was dressed the same. He sounds the same. He had never committed a crime before. It's en route to his family's house. Everything was making sense the more that I connected the dots. O.J. Simpson, another one I looked into. I watched all of that. Good night, Lily. We'll see you soon. You know what? I don't know. When I was little, I thought Charles Manson. I mean, not cool. I'm not putting it in a like manner like that, but I'm just saying that, hey, here was a guy who had a bunch of women that would do anything for him, and he wasn't happy with that. Man, when I was 8, I would have been happy with that, and I was only 8. Just throwing it out there. I just thought, man, this guy was sitting in the dream. Apparently, he didn't know it. In fact, you know what? In my hottest women ever list, I still have Susan Adkins. Yeah. Wait. Yeah. Right? Me? You want me to tell you why it isn't TB? The only thing that I could say that I cannot show proof of exactly is the car that he used in Evansdale, the car he used in Delphi, and I can't say that the video that they gave us actually shows anything determinable about his face. There is no way, even knowing that it's him, there is no way I can look at that and say, yes, that's him, because you can't say anything about his face. Nothing. It's almost like a blank face, little shadow, or but that's it. Because you can't look at that guy and say, yes, that's this guy, because you can't see his face close enough. You can say he's built like this guy, but you can't look at his. Oh God, Jodi Arias. Oh my God. She is at the top of my hottest women ever. I mean, she's up there with like 1972 Cher, Barbara Streisand. Oh, she's way up there. Look, man, I don't want to hand out personal information, but I will literally put in the name of Jodi Arias, man, on Google and just look through images. And me and Wolf will be like, yeah, I know, yeah. Oh, that woman is beyond hot. You know what? Yeah. Sleep one night with her and be like, will I wake up in the morning? I don't know. Maybe. Good times. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Right. Well, anyway, but those are my only reasonings for that, Lily. I mean, if you was inquiring to me. Yeah, but definitely Jodi Arias. I don't know. There's something about hot, evil women that I just love so much. Queen of the Damned, Aaliyah. Wow. Wow. Man. Whew. Yeah. Yeah. And I know. Yeah. Yeah. Evil women. Something about them. Yeah. You know what? I'm getting sidetracked, man. I'll think about that later. Well, you know what? I thought the same. Well, I didn't actually think the same, but I did put it out there that it could be the same because they were looking for a younger man, is the way that they put it in the briefing. 18 to 40. That's what we're thinking now. He's 18 to 40 years old because apparently the two people that seen him without a hat on, and they can't even make a conclusion about how old the guy was. Hell, he could have been 12. They don't know. See, that's when I started calling bullshit. However, I thought if they use the DNA, okay, if they use the DNA to get a basic picture of what the guy might look like in or around that age, then it did come up because if you compare that to his Navy picture when he was in or around that age, it does look pretty much, it looks alike, not identical, but it does look pretty close. So they could have used DNA and set it at that age. But here's the thing. Why would they use DNA to set it at that age to look like Thomas Bruce? Because they already knew it was Thomas Bruce. That's why I'm saying that the Delphi briefing was bullshit. Well, just because I was talking about an evil man, and somebody had asked me something about Helter Skelter, which reminded me of Susan Adkins, which reminded me of, it's just one of those things where your mind dwells. You start thinking about hot women, and well, next thing you know, yeah, you're looking at pictures of Jodi Arias. It's 'tis life. It's what I do. Don't blame me. Don't hate me. I just think evil women look hot, man. It's up here. It's not that I like evil women. Some of them are really hot, man. That's all. They don't want me to attend because last year they knew what I was going to say. Harley. You know what? Let me go down here to that. Because last year I was sitting here in live videos in the days before the press conference, telling everybody what I was going to ask. And I was met at the door by Holman and Kim Riley. And Holman's like, "You're not going in, dude. Later." See, yes, I am going in. "No, you're not." "Yeah, I will. It's open to the public." "No, it isn't. You got to be media." "I am media." "Let me see your media credentials." Handed my card. He handed it back. Didn't even look at it. "It's fake. Leave." "I heard you say you was going to get the Delphi reward money." It's bullshit. I never fucking said that. I never ever said that. I never said that in one video. I said no one will get the Delphi reward money. And it is my hope that they will give the Delphi reward money to Carroll County and the Evansdale reward money by the FBI to Evansdale. I would However, take a piece of the 50,000 set up by the citizens of Evansdale. I am real. I'm too real. I'm so real I shouldn't be making videos. That's how real I am. Yeah. Look, if anybody could look at the Delphi pictures of the bridge guy and think that that guy's 18 to 40, yeah, yeah. Well, that's the same people that reach me and think it's like CE and T. What's his name and the other dude and other guys like, oh, I still think Daniel Nations did it. And again, man, I don't contact these people back. I don't even give them a thumbs down. I just go about my way and hope they don't come on here where I got to boot them. Because when somebody has not looked into the case and don't know anything they're talking about, I'm not going to entertain sitting there for 3 hours trying to persuade them into my belief. Either they got enough upstairs to look at it and say, yeah, that's more than peculiar. That's more than interesting. And that does make a lot of connections. And, you know, I would expect people to think that way. That's how I think. And I think that everybody thinks like they do. I mean, am I right or wrong? You know, look, man, when I was going to Hollywood and the producer got a hold of me, he got a hold of me because he felt that I didn't think like other people. And I said, you want somebody that don't think like other people? Bingo. You got that dude. I don't think like anybody, to my knowledge. I have never met anybody that thinks like me. And that makes it very hard when I'm talking to somebody, even a close friend of mine, because we do not think in a like manner at all. Period, at all. I think quite different than most people. And I kind of put that to the fact that I spend the majority of my time alone. I like that. I like being alone. I find myself to be good company. Me and Wolf. And the last week, I did talk to Greeno the other day, not personally, but on the phone. If you take the phone calls that I've made to people out of it, personally talking to people, 3. I've talked to 3 different people in the last week, and all of those conversations put together is less than an hour and a half. That's how little I talk to people. Not lonely, not lonely at all. I'm just saying, I don't really talk to people. If I'm talking to somebody and they get into general chit chat, I'm like, hey man, I got pork chops to cook. I'll talk at you later though. Bye. Because I'm just not concerned with general chit chat. All right, I'm going to wrap this up at 10 after the hour in 7 minutes. I will take any final questions, throw them up now, and I will give you 30 seconds of delay time and hit me with the questions, and I'm going to roll. Oh, it's very nice of you, Alaska Blue, but it's hardly a question. Yeah, exactly, Peaches. Woke up there, man. God, more than once. You know what? I could tell stories, but I'll save that for a different channel. Because yeah, whew. Man, smelly, bad. It's not good. Okay, it's 4 after. Well, I think I'm hurting people's time. People are leaving. 6 minutes though. If anybody has a question, and it is Q&A, it is Q&A. It really is. That's the title is, well, no, it ain't. It just says Sunday evening live show. The thumbnail said Q&A. I do want to point that out. Oh, yeah. Hey, you know what? That I would do. In fact, I have in the past. And I threw up my email address and I said, if you send me your number, I will call you live and you can be right here on the show. And hell, man, we've had 100 people plus here and nobody sent anything in. Nobody gave a shit. Nobody gave a damn. So I usually don't even bother with that anymore. Yes, living alone is fantastic. It is. That's right, especially online. Yeah, I'm with you. This is not what is Bruce AMD? Oh, Bruce and the 85 Mars. That was the Innocence. I think it was the Innocent Society or something like that. It wasn't a link, and don't get confused here. It was the family of the guy that they executed for that murder, who confessed to that murder, and now the family members of the guy that they executed says, "Well, we don't know that it wasn't Thomas Bruce. He was going to school there. Hey, yeah, you might want to look into him." Yeah, we might look into him. We don't know. But they're not really. I mean, the only link to my knowledge is him and her were going to the same school. That there it is. And to go back to when he was 19 and say, hey, he may have did this. Maybe. I'm going to say it's a long shot, and I'm not saying he didn't do it, but the Innocence Project. Thank you. Yeah. No, 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 no. Look, I don't think that St. Louis law enforcement notified the Innocent Project. Because if they did, they said, hey, we got a guy here and they got his DNA and we seen you had a case down there where a guy got executed. We think he may have did it. I doubt that happened. If it did, I'm calling straight shit on fucking St. Louis. No, you know what? That's kind of a good question there. But look, originally when asked, do you think that the Delphi suspect is a serial killer? I told everybody I have no reason to believe he's a serial killer. But it's only because there was only one crime that I seen that could have fit the same scenario, and that was Evansdale. Okay, but to look at Evansdale, when at that time I was at least under a good suspicion that there was no car used. Okay, and I made a video talking about the escape route. If the suspect had no vehicle, if he had no vehicle, then he had to come from Delphi and walk down the tracks. He wasn't seen on the county road. He wasn't seen on the highway. He wasn't seen walking away. He wasn't seen walking into town. The only place that he could have went would have been back across that bridge and into Delphi up the railroad tracks. So I wouldn't have called him a serial killer off the go. And I thought it was more of a man that was there that seen the girls that it happened. I never thought it was a set up crime on those two girls. Like he already knew them and then went there to go do that job because nobody knew that they was going to be there at that time. It said that from point one. You know, they came up with the idea and drove them there. Well, the guy was there way ahead of the time they came up with that idea to go there. So I knew it wasn't like pre-planned on them like that. It was pre-planned that it would happen to someone, but not exactly on those two. So off the front, yeah, I did think that it was an attack by a man on those two girls for an unknown reason that was likely sexually motivated because he's an older guy, two younger girls. An older guy doesn't just go kill two younger girls for no reason. There's got to be an inner motive. So it was my idea that it was more of a personal attack by an older man on them But after finding the route and realizing that he drove, then I went back and looked at Evansdale because the reverse date, all the similarities, duplicate crimes. And then I'm like, I got him, man. No, this guy did do both. This is the identical suspect in both murders. So anyway, it is 10 after, everyone, and I need to wrap it up. Didn't really get many people here, but it is a Sunday evening and it is football day. You know what? I always liked football. In fact, I still like watching a good game. I think that they're making it a pussy sport now where a guy gets an elbow and it's like, oh, I'm concussed. Yeah, I'm making 50 billion a year. I don't care. Oh, I can't think anymore. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I remember heavyweights that got freaking knocked in the head, man, repeatedly all the time. Oh, they're doing fine, by the way. Yeah, they're not sitting there wearing a helmet, man, making like millions and millions of dollars, talking like a bunch of pussies who just took a hit. Fucking money runs everything, man. It turns them all into a bunch of little twats. The Shaq scrap. Don't ask me about the Shaq. It starts to upset me quickly. So, yeah, anyway, man, appreciate everybody being here. And as I always say at the end, damn near every time now, if you have money to donate to my channel for any and all upgrades, if you have money to do so, then you may drop it at my PayPal account, which is probably going to be seen right down here in the chat box. If you don't have any money, don't worry about it. I talk for like no money. That's why I'm here. It's really for no money at all. I just enjoy to get on here and let people know what it is that I know each week. That way they don't forget who I am, which probably most people forget before the end of the video. So anyway, I appreciate everybody being here, and I will catch you Tuesday evening at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Make it Eastern time. That's when I begin. If you're looking for a donation, it won't happen. It's called YouTube banning. That's how they make sure you don't get here, because they don't send you a notification unless they love your channel. Oops. Sorry, it's the computer glitch. It's just like they manually review all my shit. Nobody's going to sit there for 3 hours watching this video to go, I don't know. It looked like it was okay, but just to be safe, we're going to demonetize it. Because it's all bullshit. So if you have money and you can send it, please do. If not, I appreciate it anyway. Just appreciate you being here. So I will see you Tuesday at 6 p.m. Peace, everyone.